now it's time. Let's talk about science. I have prepared some issues, but maybe you have some cool stuff you want to talk about.
Yeah. So I mean, there are infinitely many topics you could ask questions to, but for this time, I've chosen a topic that's a little like has nothing to do with much else, and it's just a little taste about like what this kind of segment might look like in the future. And today I'd like to talk a little bit about the Olbers paradox. Now, granted, it's a little old, and the paradox has since a few years been resolved, or since a few decades.
What is it about, bitch?
The Olbers paradox asks the question, why is the night sky dark? Because when the paradox was proposed, the Big Bang Theory still didn't exist. Like, people thought the universe was infinitely large, had infinitely many stars in it, and was infinitely old. So then, if you would look into the sky, wherever you look, there has to be a star. Because it's infinitely long, and every line you trace from the...
But at night, that's the case? No?
I mean, the sky is bright, but in the Olbers paradox, the question was, there shouldn't be any dark spots left in the sky. The sky should be a completely bright surface of stars everywhere. Because wherever you look, there has to be...
Yeah, exactly, right.
There has to be a star. And between them, there has to be another one.
Okay, maybe let's explain this again for people who are as retarded as I am. But like, no matter where you look in the sky, at a certain point you will come across a star.
Exactly, because it's infinitely large and there are infinitely many. And that was in a time where people thought the universe was infinitely large and old and...
But even if it wasn't infinite, isn't it that big that it would still be completely lit up?
If it has a finite size, then there's a chance that in one direction there's no. There's no star.
But still, there should be way more than we have. Why do we only see so few stars?
And the answer to the paradox was then the proposed Big Bang Theory, because the Big Bang Theory puts a limit on the size and age of the universe. I mean, you've probably heard the universe is about 13 point something billion years old. And
I have to ask Alex Jones if that's true. Got him.
Yeah. Let's talk about to our correspondent, Alex Jones, who's our scientist expert.
I saw a poop swastika.
And so if the universe has a finite age, then we, as an observer on Earth, can also look only a finite length. Because if it's 13 billion years old, then the furthest we can look is a light ray that traveled to us from 13 billion light years away. And that's actually the edge of how we can see, how far we can see. That's called the universal horizon. So
not the event horizon.
No,
that's something else. That's where, now let me show off. That is where the gravity of a black hole is so strong that the own light of the black hole turns around. Boom, bitch! Yeah. Science, yeah!
So a horizon in science is a arbitrary boundary that when you cross it, or some things can't cross in both directions. And the universal horizon is the boundary that we as observers from Earth can never see beyond. It's always the farthest we can see. Because, I mean, the universe has an age.
You can't see beyond the horizon.
Exactly. You can't see something that is 15 billion light years away because the light has not reached us yet.
Yeah.
No. And
so actually, this is something that I really like to say. Yeah. When you look at the sky, you see the past.
You see only the past.
Exactly. Yeah. No, if you look up and you see a flying past.
Okay. Yeah.
Got him. What do you even learn at the university? Yeah. You see the past. Boy.
How does the Big Bang Theory resolve the Olbers paradox? Is that now, because the universe isn't infinite anymore, it also doesn't contain infinitely many stars, and you can't see infinitely far. Of course, there's bound to be some spots that are empty. And as it turns out, 13 billion light years across is not actually that large. I mean,
because the stars are so far apart.
Exactly. The Olbers paradox is kind of a mathematical paradox. It says, like, if it's infinite, then of course the sky should... But to reach a sky that is actually a little brighter than our sky currently, the universe has to be like absurdly large. Like 13 billion light years is nothing. It has to be infinitely many times. Like I say infinite a lot here, but with maths you do that. It has to be so much larger than it is now.
Quick maths.
Infinity plus infinity.
Man, you want to start Biff with the stars, mate.
So
check the statistics.
And that's the point where the Olbers paradox was resolved due to the
That's actually
invention of the Big Bang Theory.
But there is another paradox what I want to talk about.
Yeah, sure.
And that's the paradox that about ruined my life for a week. I'm not joking, guys. Okay, this is fucked up.
Yeah. After this, you will make a field thread on 4chan.
Okay, I'm not joking. When I heard about this, Sophia, is the camera still rolling? Yeah. When I heard about this fucked with my head. I'm not joking. Why haven't we found alien races yet?
Yeah.
And, there are many theories, and then he told me about what paradox?
It's called the Fermi paradox.
And when I heard about that, I'm like, what's the point of it all?
But I mean, so to explain, the Fermi paradox asks the question, because, I mean, I just told you that 13 billion light years across is not that big, but it's actually kind of big.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's pretty huge.
The number of stars
My
and
dick fits in twice.
Potentially planets inside our observable universe is pretty big.
Yeah.
So, and there have been many models thinking about what's the chance for life to evolve on any given planet. What's the chance for the conditions to be right? What's the probability that like some molecules suddenly form and bound together to form cells? And they've came up with numbers that are greater than 0. So
obviously, because we exist.
Exactly. So the chance for life to exist must be greater than 0. Yeah. And if you have a chance greater than 0 and many chances to rolling the dice, then of course it has to happen another time. Yeah.
Obviously, there's fucking life somewhere else. Come on.
And Fermi asked the question, so where is it? Why
haven't we met them yet?
Isn't it there?
And the answer will ruin you.
To be fair, there are many answers, but Anton chooses to believe only the most impressive one.
Because what's the argument against this one?
So
I just decided to forget about it.
Yeah.
I didn't because there's no answer.
The answer Anton really likes is
I don't like it.
There's something that is called a universal barrier, like a development barrier that once any life becomes intelligent enough or develops enough, it will reach a point where it is so far developed that it will actually be able to make itself go extinct.
Kill itself
exactly.
off.
So maybe it destroys the planet it's living on and doesn't have the technology to leave the planet, or I don't know.
So it's within the definition of life itself that before it can conquer the universe, it will kill itself.
It will annihilate itself. That's
that's so fucked, man.
It's only one possible explanation.
But what's the argument against it? Because the thing is, if you look at the world, we have the weapons now to do it. And I can actually imagine this to be true.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, but I mean, life doesn't have to be human. With our ways of thinking, they could be energy absorbing clouds that.
But why did we develop the way we did?
Because
if evolution,
yeah, it was the most efficient way here on Earth. It doesn't have to be the most efficient way somewhere.
Fuck.
And I mean, there are many other proposed solutions to the Fermi paradox that we as humanity are actually pretty 13 billion years. It's the age of the universe, and the humanity is some billion years old.
No, billion?
Earth is some billion years old, and humanity a few million. So it's actually pretty young. We're actually maybe
on the clock on the
universal
5
clock,
minutes before.
It could be that we're actually one of the first races to develop. Huh? I mean, life takes a few million.
But how long has the universe existed?
Yeah, 13 billion years, and
not as long as Earth has existed.
Earth exists about a third of the time, and I mean,
Earth is that old?
Yeah, and the sun a little bit older.
Oh, as old as the universe?
No.
No, but 1/3 as long as the universe.
Yeah. The Earth around.
What the fuck?
And so there's actually, I mean, if our planet is a third the age of the universe, then it's totally imaginable that maybe if the universe is twice as old as it is now, maybe there are more intelligent life forms developed.
Yeah.
So it could be just coincidence that we're actually, because the universe is pretty young compared to the age of our planet, that we're actually one of the earlier races to develop in the universe.
But still, I mean, think about that for a second. Before we can actually find other races, we'll kill each other off before that. Like, fuck, that's so depressing. Oh,
and of course, there's the most simple explanation that it's actually too far away to ever see them.
And you see that as being more likely?
I see that as the most likely because our technology really is quite steinzeitlich.
Medieval.
Yeah, it's pretty medieval. And the cosmic speed limit of the speed of light really prevents us from communicating or having any meaningful interaction with anything beyond a certain point. I mean, humans only live 80 years, and 80 light years is nothing. So, our interactable, or the neighborhood that we can interact with is actually extremely small. So, yeah.
That's depressing.
Yeah, Fermi's paradox isn't. It's kind of a party crasher.
Definitely. That's why I consciously decided to not think about it anymore because just
there you go.
The moral is just enjoy the life you have. Just be fucking nice to people. That's all I can say. You know, have some fun. Watch my channel. Subscribe.
Don't make humanity go extinct.
Yeah, don't subscribe and subscribe to ACG. Now I'm gonna hand it over to you. What did you bring with you today? I don't know how much time we have actually left now on the on the thing, but
how much time? No,
we have a limited time. So
yeah, it will be fun.
Yeah, camera.
Yeah. So last time, by the way, that the feedback was awesome. I really can't believe that it was so well received. So this time I've got a topic that's even better because this time it's gonna have to do with it's even having to do with video games a little bit.
Oh, right.
I mean, you announced it as a video game podcast, and we haven't talked about video
We talked about The Search too.
Okay, yeah, but okay, yeah.
Please.
It will be a The Search podcast. So, okay. In many video games and even fantasy movies and books, there's often this concept of immortal beings. Like, for example, the elves in Herr der Ringe, they can't die from aging. They can die if you stab them, but they will get older and older and older.
Oh, really? They're immortal, the elves?
Are they? Please don't kill me. But
I don't know shit about Lord of the Rings.
I think they are. Yeah, I think they can't die of old age. That's the thing.
Okay.
I mean, maybe they can't even get sick. I don't know. They're pretty magical. Yeah, and many video games also have that theme of someone who is super duper old, like. Then there are always gods that are like living through the epochs of humanity and seeing everything change around them, and they never get any older. But then they can die in combat, of course. Yeah. And this concept of not being able to age is actually not that science fiction. Because let
me take some notes here.
If you look at what aging really is, aging of carbon-based organisms that we have here on Earth, it's actually not that magical. Aging, cellular, every living being here is made out of cells. And cells age. They age because, it's gonna get a little technical. So every living thing has a genome. That's all their genes in their chromosomes written on their DNA. And this DNA is in every cell of their body. And then, we all know, cells
die.
No. Split. Yeah, cells split. And they do that to grow the organism. One cell becomes two, or to heal damage.
Or to erect
cock. Yeah.
Yes.
No, it doesn't actually involve cells splitting. But okay.
My world is ruined.
So cells split. And with every split, because DNA is in every cell, there needs to be a mechanism that replicates your DNA. So because you have your DNA in one cell, and then when it splits, you have two sets of DNA. There needs to be a mechanism that creates the second thing. And this mechanism is called polymerase. in German. I don't know how it's polymerasis.
Polymerases.
Yeah.
Skr.
And it's the polymerase is a protein.
Protein?
No?
Yeah.
No, it's not a protein. It's an enzyme. We have
I see. This is not his knowledge
We
here.
have a biology expert behind the scenes, by the way. So it's an enzyme that acts like a it's an enzyme that basically goes along your DNA and copies it. Like you get a copy out of it. It's a little bit more complicated, but that's the gist of it. And then when it's done, you have your DNA 2 times, the cell can split, you have 2 awesome new cells. The only problem with this polymerase is that it doesn't copy until the very end. Every time it copies it, a small piece at the end of the DNA is lost.
Now it's getting interesting. I was waiting to shut down this podcast the whole time.
That's basically the mechanism behind cellular aging.
Until it's gone. And then?
Yeah. The cells usually have interesting mechanisms to work against the aging. For example, at the end of your DNA, there's a long string of DNA that has no sense or no meaning.
No purpose.
Yeah, no purpose. Your body doesn't need it. And it's that long string that gets shorter and shorter and shorter without your body being affected by it.
Okay, until it reaches the part.
Until it's so short that it will be.
So did I get this straight, right? With age, you have less and less DNA in your body?
Pretty much, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but the thing.
So I can insult old people with like, man, you don't even have enough DNA. Fuck, guys, write that down. Yeah. Tell your parents next time they tell you anything. Boy, you don't even have enough DNA to tell me that shit.
And to put a Deckel drauf. Last time you were depressed about the Fermi paradox. This time I'm gonna tell you.
Fucking
human cells divide. It depends on your cell, but they divide every 20 hours, I think, or 19 hours, something like that.
Every 7 years, we're like completely new.
That's what
I
rule,
heard.
something. Yeah. So every 20 hours, a cell, or if you look at a single cell, it will divide once every 20 hours. And so, what do you think? How many times can a cell split before the useless part of the DNA is?
25 times.
50 times.
50 times. Oh, not bad.
So 20 hours times 50, and then
6
times 50. That's not that much time, actually.
And so you're saying we can stop? We can stop the? They're working on stopping the cutting off of the DNA to stop aging, or
the thing is, there's a difference between cellular aging and your whole body aging. Just because your DNA is a little shorter, you won't get.
But your whole body's aging because every single cell is aging.
Yes, but the exact. Oh yeah, I get it now. Okay.
That was Chinese, and whatever.
Yeah. But the exact correlation between you have less DNA and now your body gets older is not yet fully understood.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then last thing on that, so every cell divides 50 times, and then it's so old that it kills itself.
Because there's no more DNA left.
Well, no, it reaches the part of the DNA that is actually important. Like after 50 times, the useless part is gone, and then
But then it starts cutting off the useful
and before
part.
that happens, the cell kills itself. There's a mechanism in every cell that once it can't work correctly anymore, it will kill itself. It's called apoptosis. Apoptosis.
Apoptosis?
Yeah.
Like apocalypse? That's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
And then it kills itself.
I like it.
Now, of course, if your body would only be made out of these kind of cells, you would be dead after 19 times 50 hours.
Yeah.
And humans live a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So how do they do that? Well, there are cells in your body that actually don't lose a part of the DNA every time. Those are the stem cells.
Oh, stem cells.
Stem cells, yeah.
Ooh.
And stem cells have a mechanism that repairs the lost part every time. So they can split pretty much indefinitely.
So you're basically just here advertising stem cell
research. Good money.
You want baby bone marrow.
Yeah, bone marrow is, for example, a very good.
Yeah, bone marrow is stem cells, right?
For example, they keep creating blood cells without actually aging.
What? eating bone marrow is pretty good too. It's pretty healthy.
And
Does that
it's
have
pretty
anything?
tasty? Yeah.
Does that have anything to do with
Chinese barbarians eating bone marrow?
No, that's actually. I remember eating it like sucking out the bone marrow of the bones. It's kind of tasty, but why is it so healthy?
I don't know about the healthy thing. I mean, our Chinese grandmother always told us it's healthy.
She's like,
I don't know if there's any science behind it. It's just.
But if it's stem cells, man, it's like eat them stem cells, boy. All right.
And maybe you have heard about immortal cells in another context. Cancer. Cancer cells are. That's why it's. I mean, there's a whole lot of reasons why cancer is very difficult to treat, but one of them is that they're normal human cells that are just becoming immortal, that are not aging anymore. They can split indefinitely and therefore grow and grow and grow and grow, and you have no control over the growing anymore.
Okay.
And yeah.
But that's not the only problem with cancer.
I mean,
also, aggressive. Don't you have like aggressive cells that attack other cells?
No. Cancer cells don't attack.
So you're telling me?
I mean, I'm not a cancer.
So you're telling me the YouTube video I saw yesterday was not accurate?
What? False information on YouTube? No. I mean, the biggest problem with cancer is
the steel beams that they can melt.
Yeah. So the World Trade Center was built out of cancer steel beams. Recording stop. Stop the recording. Yeah. So next time when you play a video game and you see a character that is immortal, you know he's probably made out of stem cells.
Steel beams.
Or he's a huge tumor.
Yeah, okay.
The only reason he's still alive is because he's actually a walking tumor.
Yeah. Interesting. But fuck, the battery's empty. We didn't talk about science.
No, I had the best science. Oh,
fuck! What the fuck's wrong with this camera, mother chut? I think you have to get another battery. Turn this camera off and then move this camera towards Andi. We're not gonna stop the podcast. We're not gonna stop until the batteries are all dead. Okay, so let's talk into science because this is guys. Nothing. Okay, now take the camera and turn it to Andi. We're not gonna make this podcast end. We're gonna talk about science. Yeah, and what you can do. Wait. Andi, you can start talking about science. Start talking.
Okay. So the topic today that I thought about, last time I had a topic that was a little bit connected to video games or maybe something else, but this time it's back to more just science, no connection to video games or anything. And the question I want to ask today is, do atoms ever touch?
Ooh, saucy!
So, when you first hear this question, you might think, oh, duh. Like when you touch the table,
when you touch your dick.
Of course, you're touching your finger is touching the table. But actually, when you zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, does that actually apply all the way? And there was a few years back, there's this one channel I advertised last time that's called 60 Symbols. It's a science channel of the University of Nottingham, and they did a video on it once where a physics professor was asked the question, do atoms ever touch? And the video like degenerated into whole, what I'm telling you, people got very triggered, and the question didn't get resolved because the two parties were talking past each other. And since then, it's always been on my mind because I wanted to resolve this issue. I wanted to answer this question correctly. And the answer to this question is, there is no answer. Because touching is actually something that has no meaning when you're looking at atoms. Because usually when people ask this question naively, they think, well, yeah, atoms are like hard spheres and then they bump into each other, so they touch. But atoms aren't hard spheres. If you zoom in to the point where you see individual atoms, and if you look at the models we have for atoms, you realize, well, wait a minute, there's nothing solid in there. An atom, like the smallest particles, they're not spheres. They're not even things. Like you can really.
But the core of the atom has a mass, and
it has a mass.
It has a mass, and it
has a volume, but it doesn't actually have a boundary. It's not like, it's not like a sphere where you say this is the boundary and after that there's no more and before there's everything.
Okay.
And then of course every atom, I'm sure you guys know, it has a core and it has electrons circling around it. And before there's anything with concerning the cores, before cores can even do anything, there's a law in the universe that prevents atom cores from getting very close to each other.
Except if you shoot them against each other.
Except if you use very high energies. And that thing is pretty much the thing that's preventing things from ever really touching. Because the thing that could be able to touch, because it has a volume, is maybe the atomic core. But before that can happen, they get pushed away from each other by something that I will explain in just a minute. So the question, do atoms ever really touch, is kind of, well, what do you think is really, what are the things coming into contact with each other? The definition of touching doesn't apply in this scale of things. And the thing that's preventing the atomic cores from touching is the so-called Pauli exclusion principle.
Okay.
And that's so important, so fundamental. It's right now it's preventing you from falling through your chair and the building and the ground into the core of the earth, and it's also preventing you from falling through yourself.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the thing that prevents things from going through one another.
Okay.
And it happens because every electron
Density?
it happens because of the electrons that surround the atomic core. Electrons are so-called fermions because they follow a certain statistic. If you have many electrons, they line up in a certain statistical way that you can predict. And this statistic says no two electrons that have the same energy can be in the same point or can occupy the same space at the same time. So when you have an electron with energy 1, and then another electron comes along that has the same energy, it pushes the other one away. Or, that they can't be in the same place at the same time. Mm-hmm. There are other particles that can do that. They are called bosons. They can have the same energy. And this force that keeps electrons from being at the same place at the same time, this Pauli exclusion force, is pretty much what keeps everything from going through everything. Because the atomic core is so small, they wouldn't really collide with anything. So if you put your hand on the desk, or if you sit down on a chair, the atomic cores of the chair and the atomic cores of your butt don't touch.
So the majority of the mass doesn't touch.
Yeah.
The masses don't touch.
Masses don't touch. The thing that keeps you from... So the atomic cores never touch. The thing that
the reason why this mouse doesn't fall through the table
are the electrons. And the electrons
that are pushing, that are.
It's the Pauli exclusion principle that keeps pretty much the electrons of your mouse floating above the things of a table.
Okay, so what does that say about masturbation?
Masturbation. So yeah. So the question of if things are really ever touching kind of doesn't make sense because we're not talking about hard spheres. Instead, we're talking about like electrons. Usually they come in form of clouds and they have no clear boundary. You can't say the electron is here or it is not there. Mm-hmm. You can't say it's up to this radius, there's an electron and then there's no one. So touching with something that has no boundary, that's not even a question. It doesn't. It has no sense. There's no sensible thing to it.
What happens if you shoot one atom towards the other?
And that's what they're doing in particle colliders.
And in atom bombs also, right?
Not.
Wie sagt man Atomspaltung?
There's nuclear fission and nuclear fusion.
Uh-huh.
In fusion, the thing I just talked about there's so much energy that the cores can actually bypass this repulsive Pauli force.
And they're hitting each other.
And then they might be actually touching.
And when cores touch, then
they fuse. It depends on what cores they are, but usually it's energetically better for them if they fuse into one core. And that's, you could say, under these circumstances, they do touch.
So how hard do I have to punch somebody in order to actually touch him?
Yeah, you have to punch him with, I think, 99% of the speed of light.
So actually, guys, Mayweather did not touch McGregor.
Yeah, no.
He didn't fucking touch him.
No.
So you haters, back off.
If you are in a restaurant and you see a beautiful waitress, smack her on the ass.
Don't say.
You didn't touch it.
Okay, no. That's not, don't do that. Okay.
Do that.
The police don't know science. Okay?
But yeah, I mean,
You want to talk science?
yeah, it's not that sciencey today, but it's still, like, the last 15 minutes are reserved for me. Yeah. So the topic today is a little less science and a little more fiction.
Science fiction.
Yeah. Oh. And the thing I want to talk about is, I'm sure most of you know H.P. Lovecraft. He's an American author who has lived in the beginning of the 20th century and wrote fictional horror stories. Like he released them in these old pulp magazines, short stories of monsters. Yeah. And I don't know much about how he was perceived in his time, but his works today have since created a whole cosmos of the monsters and deities that he created back then. I mean,
mythology, lore.
Everyone knows Cthulhu. There's the whole Cthulhu mythos. Then he has created many other gods that all... and he has created a new genre that's commonly associated with his works, and that's cosmic horror. And cosmic horror, it has many layers. Like the first layer is the tentacle monsters just look creepy. Okay, fine, yeah, but anyone can do that. The second layer is that in cosmic horror, one of the things that's really horror about it is how small these entities makes you feel as a human. How small humanity is compared to these gods.
Like Attack on Titan horror.
Not small in terms of size, but in terms of cosmic relevance. Yeah, in cosmic horror, the horror thing about it is the protagonist realizing that actually humanity is so insignificant on its little speck of dust in the universe.
But that's not horror.
But the realization that you're actually nothing is the horror about cosmic horror. So, I mean, his one of his most popular stories is The Call of Cthulhu, where a investigator investigates different weird sightings around the world, and he realizes that they're actually trying to awaken an old god that has come to the earth before humanity was even there and is sleeping on the ground of the Atlantic Ocean. And he then has like these visions and sees all of the gods that are in the universe, and like for them humanity is nothing. They could wipe out humanity with just by accident. And this knowledge of powerlessness and insignificance, that's like the layer of cosmic horror that I think makes it really
like Dr. Manhattan kind of realize,
it's just the realization that you are actually nothing. Okay. That is cosmic horror's essence. That you're powerless, meaningless, and insignificant. That is usually the essence of all of H.P. Lovecraft's works. Okay. And then the characters usually go mad.
Yeah.
And okay, so that's the fiction part. Now, what has that to do with science? The thing I was asking myself is these cosmic gods that H.P. Lovecraft invented. What's so horrible about them? One, they're tentacles. They have tentacles, but also that the way they're described is H.P. Lovecraft puts a lot of emphasis on never describing the god like in detail. He says that the beings are so indescribable that he cannot describe it in words.
Because they're indescribable.
They're indescribable, exactly. Yeah. So they're incomprehensible for a human. Like when a human has the visions of knowledge of the old gods, his brain cannot process it, and then he goes mad.
So like people who watch my channel.
Cosmic God Anton. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, isn't there something in our real universe that fits this description of something so big, so powerful and incomprehensible that it can usually not be worked with?
Fortnite.
Get out of here. No. The thing that in my mind, fit this description are these gigantic numbers that describe our universe. Like, I don't know how much you have come in contact with astronomy, but usually when you hear or like at a university level, astronomy usually consists of very, very big numbers. Yeah, huge amounts of zeros. 10 to the power of 10, 15, 20. Yeah. So does that even say something to you? 10 to the power of 15?
Just have to look smart.
10 to the power of 15 is 10 with 15 zeros after it.
Also hoch, oder? Auf Deutsch.
Ja, genau. 10 hoch 15.
Genau.
Yeah, is 10 with 15 zeros. Yeah. It's a very big number.
Yeah.
And usually when you talk about the universe, it's always like there aren't any small numbers in the universe. Mm-hmm. And I think most people, myself included, and I'm a physicist, these numbers are too big for a human mind to actually grasp what they mean.
I get what you mean. So they're too large to even comprehend, to envision, but do they strike fear into your heart?
Well, if you then compare the numbers for our Earth or anything here, this comparison is actually what I think invoked in me a little bit of this feeling of,
what the fuck?
Well, actually, what does this even matter in the
big scale
scope of billions, 13 billions of light years?
But I think that's maybe something what the average person wouldn't be afraid of.
Yeah? No?
No, I don't think so. Because I think you have to be a physicist to say, look at this number.
it's kind of, okay, I see that it's kind of fucking nerdy.
The scariest horror movie ever. It's like a giant number on the screen.
Because when I'm not an astronomer. That's not my topic in physics. But when I look at these numbers and compare them to what we are dealing with here, it just feels like nothing.
But I think what you mean can be just expressed in a different way, which is more, I think, accessible to the average person. It's just in general when you think about the universe. I mean, in general, we are such a tiny piece of shit floating around, so goddamn insignificant. That is scary. That is the universe is scary.
Yeah, but you're talking about size, and size has a number.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think about the number. I don't have a number in my mind.
Okay.
Didn't we discuss this once on the podcast? If you're in a space station and you look on Earth, you start to detach.
If Earth becomes smaller and smaller,
you start to emotionally detach yourself.
I think that they're all kind of connected. That the human brain is made for life on Earth.
Maybe
it's evolutionary made for life here, and
maybe we cannot. This is a bit like believing in God.
That's kind of a belief thing.
It's not a scientific.
No, that's absolutely not scientific.
Maybe we have time to talk about this very quickly about something what maybe will help some of you out there about scientific theory, falsificationismus.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's address this very quickly because I don't want the show to be political in any sense, but people don't understand. Many people out there think science is truth. Like, no, it's science, man. It's the truth. Yeah. Then these people don't understand what science is. Science's job is to figure out what is true. That's the case. This is science's job. But the methodology, can you say it like this, of science, a scientific Aussage, statement, a scientific statement has to be, by definition, falsifiable. For many of you, maybe this is I know this, but I feel like sometimes people don't know this. Yeah. They're talking about it's science, man. That means it's true. No, science is based on experiments that go after there's the inductive und deduktive Methode, and it means that a lot of times, even the way that experiments are conducted or the way they are constructed is often with a result already in mind. This is a human error that always plays a role as well. So this is the deductive problem. So maybe some of you care about the philosopher Popper. This is a guy who in German it's called Wissenschaftstheorie. I don't know what's it called in English. Scientific theory. It's the philosophy behind science, which is very important.
Or the philosophy behind knowledge.
Or knowledge, or Erkenntnistheorie is epistemology, I think, in English. So science is not just what's true. Science has been disproven a lot of times, what was thought to be true. And that doesn't make it less scientific. That is the job of science.
That's what science, like, it's a definite, that it
and
can
I have a scientist right here.
Disproven.
A scientific statement has to be able to be disproven. Is that correct, the way I formulated it?
That's exactly the way my prof in first in one of my first lectures in the first year of university.
Let's take the example of climate change, okay? We're not here to discuss it's true or false, whatever. It's based on experiments that are conducted, and let's just assume right now, or let's just say, okay, these experiments are all einstimmig, they're all conclusive, or conclusive, is that the right word? They all come to the same result of humans have an effect on climate change, period. So that's the result. That still doesn't mean that it's true, because the way these experiments are conducted means it has to be possible to falsify these results. My English comes to its limits right now. You know what I mean? For example, in a couple of years, it has to be possible to say, well, what we thought back then, actually, we just figured out, no, that wasn't the case. That doesn't mean that it wasn't scientific before, or that it was a lie. You know what I mean? Science has to be falsifiable. And very important.
And one other thing that's also very important is it has to be reproducible.
Yes, that also.
It kind of goes hand in hand with being falsifiable. If you can't reproduce it, then you can never falsify it.
Exactly.
So it has to be reproducible and maybe falsifiable.
That's why, in a certain kind of funny way, if you want to get a little bit more into philosophy, opinion has a higher truth value than science in a way, when you think about it. Because your opinion is not falsifiable. If you like the color blue, that is not a scientific fact. That's not falsifiable. That is your opinion. End of story. Or there's a God or something like this. It's not falsifiable, therefore not a scientific statement. Therefore, it's 100% true and 100% false. It's not in the realm of that.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
True and false are not qualities that apply to opinions.
Exactly. Yeah. So maybe this is just something to put out there, maybe to make you think or to make you hate me, whatever.
Wait. We aren't done yet.
What? We're not done?
You cut off my science, you bitch!
Oh shit, we got the science.
Okay, then let's make it a 1.5 hour science podcast.
One thing.
Yeah, boy.
A few podcasts back, I embarrassed myself by announcing a science topic and then forgetting it on the spot. But this time I'm prepared. And the thing I want to talk about this time is, I told a story to Anton once. I don't think I told it on the podcast. It was one of the most mind-blowing moments while studying physics. It was the moment I saw the first atom with my own eyes. I'm of course exaggerating a bit, because I don't see it with my own eyes. I saw it on the screen. But so the thing is, when I was a little boy, I was already interested in physics, and I remember I read somewhere that matter is made out of atoms, and I believe that, found it kind of interesting. But every source said atoms are, no one can see them. They're too small. No technique that they use can ever make them visible. And I was like, oh, well, sad, I guess.
Schade.
Yeah, schade. And then that kind of didn't change. Like when I was in high school, atoms exist, blah, blah. No one knows how they look. These are just models with the core and the electrons around. And then in the university, there was one course that had as a topic a so-called atomic force microscope. I don't know what.
Yeah, whatever.
Rasterkraft microscope. Atomic force microscope. So, and before I already heard about an electron microscope, which was the thing that prevents you from seeing atoms is light. Light has a wavelength, and you can't see things that are smaller than the wavelength. Okay. And the wavelength is for visible light in the hundreds nanometers range. Mm-hmm. So, and atoms are smaller than 100 nanometers. And then the technique I heard about was electron microscopy, and that has even smaller wavelengths, but still not atomic scale. And then a professor told me about this atomic force microscopy, and it uses an entirely different technique. It uses like almost caveman style, just a needle that gets that is as pointy as possible, to the point where you have the ideal needle is one atom across at the tip. But of course you can't do that. But you get as pointy as possible, and then you adjust your needle to go as close to the surface as possible. Mm-hmm. And then you scan the surface with the needle. And then you're close to the needle. There's an attractive force between the needle and the surface. And then if there's, for example, like space between two atoms, then there of course is the next layer of the surface is further away from the needle.
Sure.
You know, you can, if you picture a surface like many spheres in a orderly fashion, then there are spaces between the spheres. And the needle is pointy enough to make out these
The irregularities.
the irregularities of the surface, which in turn gives you at the end a picture of every single atom of the surface. And that was when I saw the first picture that I actually measured myself with an atomic force microscope that wasn't bigger than this computer here. I was blown away, and I have even prepared a little picture here. Let's see if I can get it in front of the camera. Yeah, you see this?
That's an S.
Is a atomic force microscope picture of a silicon. Is it silicon? Silicium?
No, silicon is silicon.
I have no idea.
Silicium is silicium. Whatever.
I think it's silicon. And the technology of atomic force microscopy goes even further. You can actually turn the needle into a probe where you can remove individual atoms and write stuff on the surface by removing singular atoms and having letters that are a few atoms across. That was amazing. Yeah.
So why is this so amazing to you that you saw an atom? Like why?
Well, the thing was that when I was a little kid and I was already into physics, the state of physics at that point wasn't at the point of resolving singular atoms. Every source said you can't see them. You can never see them because light doesn't work. That was kind of impossible. And then to find a technique that doesn't work with light but works with almost like a club hitting a surface to be this good.
Light behaves at times like a particle and at times like a wave. Mm-hmm. When they behave like a particle, then light has a mass. No. So it's a non-existent particle.
It's a particle that has no mass. That is no contradiction. It has an impulse. Do you call it momentum?
Wait. So when light behaves like a particle, it still doesn't have a mass?
Yeah, it doesn't have to. It just has to have a momentum. That's the.
What's the momentum? Like they turn?
Impulse.
The move. Like if you. So, let's say if you're running, and you want to stop, the momentum is what's keeping you from stopping.
But what has the impulse?
So, the light particle.
But it doesn't exist. It's not there.
No, just because it doesn't have a mass doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
But what does it?
For example,
but if it doesn't have a mass, then what is it then? What is it?
I don't know.
What is light?
It's a photon. But picture it this way. It has a momentum, meaning that when a light particle, a photon, hits something, there's an effect.
Okay.
It's like hit a solid ball hitting something, but it actually doesn't have a mass. But it doesn't need to have a mass.
The photon has zero rest mass and always moves at the speed of light within a vacuum.
How can it exist if it doesn't exist?
If it doesn't have a mass. I mean, waves don't have mass. That's kind of a thing in physics. Waves exist, of course. I mean, water waves exist, but the wave itself, a wave does not need mass. But it's still something. It's still a thing that you can describe as.
No, even Wi-Fi flies through the air.
Kinda,
it exists, but it doesn't have a mass, right?
Yeah, electromagnetic waves don't have a
genius.
mass.
You need to get into quantum physics to explain more of that, right? I have no idea, but I know it goes way deeper.
It goes onto levels where actually all particles are just waves.
Okay, say something so smart right now that no one will get it.
That's impossible.
No, say something that's so deep into your
jet fuel can melt.
Into your shoe.
Jet fuel can melt.
No. No one will get that. Say like a formula.
I don't know.
Say something smart.
Fermi's golden rule describes the transition probability of an atom going from one state to the other, while under the effect of an harmonic
conversion.
Potential?
Like in Legend of Korra.
No, harmonic potential.
Did you just say shit or was it true?
Actually, that's. I hope it's true.
Fact check.
I hope. I'm sure about everything except for the harmonic potential. I don't know if
okay, say like the name of a very deep, complicated formula.
Fermi's golden rule.
Damn.
I have
only get this on the Ranton Podcast.
I have fucking nightmares about this thing.
Okay, damn. That's it, I think. Ranton Podcast number 7. That was epic. that
was pretty fucking good. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, dude. You got some science thing?
No. Not fleshed out. No.
What I had a science question, but I also fucking forgot it. God damn it. Do you have really nothing?
I can. There's a small thing I'd like to talk about. Ooh, I don't know if I can do that. Actually, I wanted to maybe explain what I do in my master's thesis, but it's ongoing. No, let's not.
Then I have something.
Yeah,
not really science, but like I'm going to college. Yeah, I don't want to get too much into politics, but it is a problem. It is a problem that in academia, all teachers are so left. Like, please, in the comments, don't make it about left and right. It is not what this is about. It's not about who's right, who's wrong. It's just about, it's not healthy if they all have the same political opinion and if it always bleeds into the lessons. And I'm not even saying that I'm left or that I'm not left or anything like that. It's just, I find it inappropriate. Like, because I'm going to college now and all teachers, they make, and they get away with it because young people
agree.
Young people are mostly left.
Yeah.
Whether that's right or not is a different issue. But it's just about, I think it's inappropriate. Dude, shut the fuck up. Stop putting your politics into this.
But are you listening to any classes where politics are relevant?
No.
So they just...
Yeah, they always make their comments. It's like, Trump. It's like, yo, do you know that there are many people who voted for Trump?
Yeah.
Like,
and you think it's okay just calling them all stupid or
can you just not talk politics? And I would be totally fine with this if about 50-50 some teachers were right leaning and then every human is a human and a teacher is also a human and he's gonna make a political comment every once in a while. That is not the issue. It's just that it's a problem if everyone has the same political opinion and they all kind of like, it has to be like this. Either you have the universities have to tell their teachers, yo, shut the fuck up about politics, or, and this is what I don't want,
literally,
or the government has to put in quotas of like, yo, what's your political opinion, and then 50-50.
But that's horrible.
That's bullshit.
Yeah,
that's
exactly,
bullshit.
Yeah.
But yo, if you're not, keep it out of the classroom. And I actually mentioned it because we have one class where we're supposed to discuss the university, and I talked about that. I was like, I really like it here. It's great university, and it is. But I don't like that the teachers put politics into their they talk politics sometimes. I don't think it's appropriate that it's all the same. And then one girl is like, "What, you prefer to be taught by right wingers?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
you will die tomorrow.
It is. I how do I say this in English? Because in German I can say it in English. Like, I don't want to be taught by right wingers just as much as I don't want to be taught by left wingers. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not that. It's not science.
Yeah.
It's just like, yo, keep that shit at home. You know.
But
I don't know. It's bothering me a little bit.
I can, like, we're not going to the same college. I can only tell you about my experiences from my college, and I've had no problems with that so far. But I mean, I'm studying physics.
And also, it's so anonymous in your university.
How?
It's like KIT, huge Vorlesungssaal. With me, it's just like school.
Yeah, still, but I mean, you get to talk to the professors every now and then, and I've never
you don't know
heard
how it is with me. It's just like in school. Just like in school.
Yeah.
All sitting there on the group tables.
Yeah. Oh,
and
I see.
group works and just having discussions.
Okay.
It's very much like school.
Yeah.
But
okay. But still, I mean, I haven't had anything to do with that. I know that there are, like in every college, there are connecting groups of students that have this agenda or that agenda or whatever. But the professors have always been physics. 100%.
Probably physics is probably also one of the areas where that's the least, that's probably usually not a problem. I guess politics becomes a problem sometimes where people teach economics,
or any social science.
Social sciences. That's where it becomes an issue because that's about physics. That's the least ideological thing there is, physics.
Yeah. After mathematics.
Yeah. Exactly. But overall, I'm really enjoying it. Yeah. I think we're through. So, science segment. We finally have a science segment. Let's go.
Okay. The thing I want to talk about today does not really have that much to do with physics, as much as it has to do with mathematics. One, in my opinion, common misconception is that you can predict the future with probability. I think probability is being misused everywhere, almost everywhere, if it comes up in a conversation. And I want to do my small part to maybe rectify this a bit.
Okay.
So I propose this. Knowing about the probability of a certain event, in fact, does not help you one bit about determining what will happen next. Let's take, for example, a coin toss. Yeah, a perfect coin toss has half chance to come up heads and half chance to come up tails. Knowing this, can you actually tell me anything about my next coin toss?
Well, 50-50.
That statement is actually null because it can only come up either heads or tails. And knowing the probability, saying that your next coin toss will have a 50% probability, that doesn't actually hold any meaning because it will either come up heads or tails. It will not come up 50% heads and 50% tails.
Well, but that's the 50-50 example, though. When you have a 99% chance, you can... But you do guide your life by probabilities, right? When you walk home today, you assume that you're not going to get hit by a meteorite. Because the chance... you're not going to get hit by lightning.
Yes.
So probabilities do guide your life. You don't expect this because it's so unlikely.
Well, I'm going to get to that point. Yeah. So, or rolling a dice or something. Yeah. The next event is in no way predictable by knowing the probabilities of this event. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or roulette. Even if red came 99 times in a row, it has nothing to do with now black is more probable or something. Yeah.
But that's because it came 99 times in a row, but that's a different example though. That's the likelihood of the next one remains 50-50 between red and black.
Yes.
Yeah, that's different. If that's different than the probability being 99%.
Yeah, no. Of course. I'm not saying that.
With the coin toss, each time it's 50%, 50-50.
True, yeah. But even if it didn't come 99 times in a row, it's still, you can't say anything about the next event only by knowing the probability. What you can, however, say is that in the next 10 billion events, red will come half of the time and black will come half of the time.
I think I understand where you're getting at.
And the thing is that probabilities in a mathematical sense only start making sense when you're talking about infinities or gigantic numbers. And that's the point you made with the meteorite.
Well, let's use lightning. Yeah, because that happens more.
Let's say every nanosecond there's a chance that randomly a lightning strikes you. Maybe that actually happens.
Whatever.
So, how many nanoseconds do you live? You live so many nanoseconds that actually the probabilities don't just become very small, they actually become zero. Or, for example, if the numbers, the mathematical term is converging, they're converging towards a certain number. For example, let's say the coin toss thing. if you throw the coin an infinite amount of times, it will not be this is almost 50% and this is almost. It will be exactly the one part of the coin. The heads will come up exactly the same amount of times as tails comes up, or exactly 50% of the time. So probabilities go from no predictive value for the next event to actually guaranteeing perfect prediction at infinity. And when in our daily lives statistics and probabilities get used, they're rarely talking about infinities.
But I don't know if I still agree with your premise. You said that probabilities don't help us predict the future. No, but they do, though. Because if something is 99% likely, you are going to expect this to happen. I mean, you can philosophically argue for anything, but you know that you are going to... When you turn on your computer today, you expect this thing to work because it usually works. Could it happen that you get a blue screen today? Computers are weird. Can happen.
Yes.
But if I ask you before, if a kid asks you what's happening if you click on this button, you're going to say your computer turns on.
And maybe the kid is going to press and going to turn a blue screen, and for him, computers never work.
No, but the probability, you still live by the probability of it working. So you are you expect.
I mean, the probability in this case doesn't influence my decision. You know what I mean?
I think only in the 50-50 case, your argument makes sense.
No, even when rolling a die, it's not a 50% chance.
But when things become extremely likely, your life, your everyday life, I think, is guided by you do live by probabilities.
You do have a point, because it's not like it only starts making sense once you're at infinity. No, of course, it's converging there. So it's a fluid transition between being not able to predict anything and predicting everything. And these probabilities, if you have a very high probability, then of course, in general, the number of events you have for it to be a prediction go down. You know, if I have a coin toss example, I have to do very high amounts of coin toss for it to balance out. Mm-hmm. But if I have some coin that has a 99 and 1% chance, I have to do a very low amount of coin tosses to actually see that. No, actually, was that right?
No, that's wrong.
No.
You have to go to infinity still.
Yeah.
To get the exact probability, you still have to go to infinity. When somebody tells you, if you...
no, it's actually the other way around.
But where you work, imagine you work somewhere and you have a card and you put that card somewhere, the door opens.
Yeah.
If somebody goes to you, hey, what happens if you put that card there? You're going to say this door opens. Because the door...
Because it opened once for me. Yeah.
No, because every time for the past year when you were going to this job, it opened. But it could still happen that there's an error. Get the
yes.
Yeah, but
I mean
that proves my point though, because it proves that you still use this high probability to expect what is happening in the future. You expect when you put your card there that this thing will open because it happens most of the time, almost always, because the probability is so high that you do use this to predict the future.
Yes. It's not predicting anything. It's expecting something.
Because that's semantics. Predicting, expecting.
I
think what you're saying only makes sense with 50-50 probabilities.
No, because the example you made with the boy that what happens if I press on this button and then the computer doesn't work? For him, computers never work. And then if someone asks the kid, "What is this?" This is a machine that doesn't work. So yeah. And only if you do a high amount of events, then you can actually come close to the truth.
That's true. That's the mathematical argument. But you're saying that in everyday life, you think that people misuse probabilities because they make it because you say it's wrong that they use it to make predictions. But I'm saying that's still correct.
No. The example I wanted to give with how probability is misused in our daily lives, I haven't even given yet.
Okay.
I don't mean the way you do your normal stuff.
I thought that's what you were arguing for, that you're saying that it's wrong that we use probabilities to guide our daily lives, because I'm saying that absolutely makes sense.
But our daily lives are not guided by probability.
No, but they are. They are. If you it can happen that your car doesn't start. There's a probability only that it starts.
Yeah, but you're never thinking about your daily life in terms of probability. The example I want to give how it is misused is when someone claims to have a fact, and then they show you statistics. That's, I think, the point I
need an example to understand this.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to make this channel political.
Yeah, don't make it political.
Yeah, but there's, I mean...
Can you find another example that's not political?
You surely have seen statistics on climate.
Okay.
Yeah? And some people don't believe in climate change. And whenever someone presents statistics that should be understandable by the broad public, they're so extremely simplified.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? And the point where they simplify the most is simply by saying, yeah, I've made these and these probabilities. This is how the world community should act.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If we continue to act, then there's a 60% chance that the world will be destroyed in 10 years. That's not actually saying anything.
And this I get.
Yeah.
I think
you know what
I think I get it.
You know what I mean? These statistics are usually used by the news and the media and stuff to make you to predict a next event. Yeah, there's that high percent chance for this to happen in 5 years.
Okay.
But it's just one event. There is no actual probability for this one event to happen. It will either happen or not.
I think you're arguing actually for something completely different.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I think what you're saying is actually that they're misusing probabilities in the sense that they're fundamentally misunderstanding them, in the sense that there are no probabilities for these events.
For singular events, to speak of a probability has no actual value. A singular event has no probability. A singular coin toss will either come up heads or tails.
I think I'm slowly kind of getting it on an abstract level.
It does not care about the abstract concept of probability. The probability is a thing that happens when you have many events. One single event has no probability. So if the next time you read something by quality media,
I'm still not sure. When you toss a coin, you don't say you have the 50-50 chance.
Well, it's because a coin has been tossed many times in the history of man, and
it's not. It's because it has two sides, and the coin is symmetrical. It's either this or this, 50-50.
Yes, but
I don't think I think even a child understands a coin can either come this way or this way, and they understand it can be either or. I don't think a child thinks like the chance is 50-50 because it's been thrown a million times.
From the examination of the coin, they see both sides look kind of the same.
Yeah.
But of course,
that's an extremely easy example, of course. But
I think it could also be wrong. I mean, one side of the coin could be heavier and it look exactly the same, and you don't know that. The coin doesn't know that.
Yeah.
So that's only a very superficial way of seeing probabilities. That's
interesting,
kind
man.
of my 2 cents on that.
Interesting.
I really hope. I mean, I don't hope it. I accept the world to be this way. I know statistics are very hard to understand if you get them raw. I mean, in physics, I have to deal with huge amounts of data, and luckily, I mean, physicists get huge amounts of data because only then will there
be good
results actually make
reliable
sense.
Result. Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm. Good.
That's why scientists usually have to work that much and repeat the same experiments that many times, because a single result actually has no value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Good. Okay.
Now, in the end. All right, let's do science.
Was that all Patreon questions?
Yeah.
And all topics?
Yeah, wait, let me see. I wrote down, I think we went through everything that I wrote down. That was absolute halal. I have some more stuff, but that would take too long to talk about. Oh, I just watched the new Spider-Man movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Home Far From Home. Really good.
I think it's just Far From Home, but
I didn't expect anything. I expected it to be garbage, but I'm surprised how much I liked it. Like Homecoming was already a surprise, and then this one again surprised. Really fun. I don't give a shit about the universe anymore one bit. Ever since time travel, nothing matters anymore. So fuck that. But it's entertaining. Gotta say.
Good.
I wanted to talk about why John Wick sucks. But that's a big discussion, and that's gonna.
Shall we?
We'll do this on the next podcast. And John Wick doesn't suck, by the way. I exaggerate. I exaggerate to trigger people.
Yeah.
It doesn't suck, but I want to explain why I'm not a fan
what
of it.
our problems with John Wick were, right?
Yeah. Now let's do this next time.
Next time. Okay.
Now you have 20 more minutes for science.
Okay. So before I start, there's one short thing I wanted to address to all our viewers and listeners.
Oh yeah.
If you happen to be at the end of school and wondering what direction to take your life in, because when we finished high school, everyone always told us that the entire world is now open to us, blah, 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 and we could do whatever we want, and many people were kind of overwhelmed with the possibilities. Let me point you into the direction of becoming a scientist. And not just... I mean a real scientist, not like social science. No, I mean a real scientist, like a mathematician, physics, biology, chemistry, engineering, computer science, things like that. Why do I tell you this? Well, this is not the politics podcast, so don't be scared that I will go into it too much. But a few months back, there was a European election, and a party that was elected heavily were the green parties all around Europe. And maybe you've heard that in Europe there are demonstrations, they're called Fridays for Future, where they're demonstrating for climate. And I don't want to say anything about if this is valid or not, but I just want to clear up that if you are really interested in helping the climate of this planet be sustainable or good for humanity, then the way to go is not to demonstrate on the streets or donate money to Greenpeace or anything. The only thing that will save this planet will be to make the best technology also the cleanest technology. Technology is the only way to go here. I think all the programs that are being done right now, where people you tell people they have to cut back on their lives. They have to do something that they're used to, but that's actually bad. So stop doing it anymore, without offering a comfortable alternative that will never ever work.
Yeah.
So the only way to go is really to make the best technology also the cleanest technology. And you can do that. You can do your part by becoming a scientist, either, as I said, mathematician, physicist, all the stuff.
Great message.
If you don't know what to do, maybe you can do this.
Yeah, I think that's great that you said that.
Good.
I disagree with you to some extent. I do think that protesting is important because it raises awareness, and maybe by protesting, some people are pushed to become scientists.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Good point.
So I do think that's a good thing. But yeah, that's a great thing what you said. I agree.
Okay.
Because that's often the problem. You know, you're right. This is not a politics podcast, but this has sort of something to do with. I get really mad when people shit on lobbyists.
Yeah.
Because the people don't understand what lobbyism is.
Yeah.
Lobby is not good or bad. It's just important.
It's
because
interest.
Well, lobbies are there because politicians oftentimes don't know what's happening. So politicians oftentimes have no fucking idea how business works.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to, but running a country has a lot of parallels to a business. And maybe a politician are about to put in some laws that would completely screw over an entire industry. And so that doesn't happen, you have representatives from this industry go there and tell them, yo, these laws would impact us like this. Yeah. So that doesn't mean that lobbyism is always good. There's a lot of bad shit going on. Lobbyism a lot of times is bad, and backdoor deals, that's bad stuff. But in general, it's important that industries have representatives that go to the politicians and explain them how their laws will impact them. Yep. Now, they lie sometimes. That's all valid. But I'm just saying, in general, it is important to have lobbyists.
The basic idea is that someone has to tell the politicians how their decisions will affect them.
Yeah, because politicians, they can't know everything.
Yeah.
They can't. And oftentimes they study politics oftentimes and law. They don't know fucking business. Yeah. And would you want them to make a decision suddenly that screws over the entire gaming industry? Well, no. We would like to have maybe some gaming lobbyists that are there to tell them, yo, this law would explode our costs for creating video games, right? So that's why we need lobbyism.
Yeah.
But again, it's not good or bad.
Yeah.
It manifests itself in different ways, but in general, lobbyism is important. But why do I get to that?
How did we get here?
Something you said reminded me of the whole lobbyism thing. Forgot. Fuck.
Yeah.
Maybe with a climate, because there's a lobby of climate scientists too, right?
Yeah, on both sides. Because we talked about like how both sides, the climate, I'm just calling them climate change deniers and climate change activists, both sides have to lie out of their back teeth to mobilize the most amount of people, which I think is also a wrong approach, which is why I said technology is the key here.
I think now I remember, because I think due to this big protests and massive outrage and stuff, so then politicians become forced to take action. And then oftentimes they take action that's now this has something to do with lobby. So then they take action that is maybe detrimental to a certain industry, and then suddenly it hits the individual in their pocket, in their wallet, and then suddenly their mind changes. So people are willing to protest on behalf of the climate, but then the moment they realize, whoa, I have $200 less in my bank account each month, they're like, yo, what the fuck is this? And you don't want politicians to make decisions that are fucking up industries, because if we get more poor, then no one is fucking helped. That's going to lead ultimately to the opposite. That's why you need. That's why you should become a scientist. So there's a scientist lobby or technology lobby, let's call it like this, who then talks to the politicians, yo, we have these technologies, these innovations, these clean technologies that we need investment in this. This is how this is the way to fix it. Now I remember why I want to talk about lobby. So that we have actual scientists creating technologies who they have a lobby, and they can come to the politician, explain to them. Explain sensible measures to take. Because there are sensible and there are unsensible measures to take, right? So,
Good. That was just my short science segment introduction tangent.
Oh, fuck.
Now we get to the real science segment that I prepared for today. And as I have announced in the beginning, I wanted to do something with Zeno's paradoxes. So Zeno is a Greek philosopher, I think, pre-Socratic, so 400 BC, very old. And Anton was actually the one who brought these paradoxes to my attention. I've never heard of them, but many years back, Anton was like, Andi, why do you study physics? Movement doesn't exist. Because let's look at an arrow. You fire an arrow.
I remember.
The arrow is not actually moving, because when you look at it, when you look at it at a moment in time, it's not moving. And what's it? I know it in German. I can't put it in English. So the arrow, when you look at a moment in time, the arrow is at a fixed space and it's not moving. And where it's not, it's whatever. But at the next moment in time, it's at another place and also not moving. That's what Zeno's paradox is trying to say. Like, movement doesn't exist because at every moment in time, things aren't moving. At a fixed moment in time, things are not moving. And
okay. I think
you brought that up.
The way to put it into that was like, I think 10 years ago or something.
Many years.
The way where the arrow is, it isn't moving, and where the arrow isn't,
it isn't.
Exactly. It was some funny formulation like this. It was a Greek philosopher who made this, who talked about it.
The formulations of this guy were all over the place.
Very interesting stuff. That nothing is actually moving, he said. Everything is static.
Yeah. And at that point, I mean, it was so many years ago, I didn't really know what the answer was. And I was very sad that I got outsmarted by my smart-ass little brother. But now, of course, after studying physics for a while, of course, I know what the problem is. And before I answer it, another one of Zeno's paradoxes is the Achilles races the tortoise paradox. And Zeno said that if Achilles races against the tortoise and the tortoise has a head start, Achilles will never overtake the tortoise because they both start. Achilles runs. And when he's at the point where the tortoise was, the tortoise will also already be a little bit further ahead.
Doesn't make any fucking sense.
Now, let's say Achilles starts at 0 and the tortoise starts at 1. Then it's go. Then after a certain amount of time, Achilles is at 1, but the tortoise has moved forward maybe 1.10.
Okay.
Then after another time, Achilles is at 1.10.
Yeah, but does Achilles get slower and slower?
No. The time that I'm talking about isn't fixed. Like maybe after 1 second, yeah, Achilles is at 1 meter and the tortoise is at 1.5 meter. Let's just say.
Okay.
Yeah, and then after another time span, a very short time span, Achilles is at 1.5. But in this time, the tortoise has already traveled a little bit forward.
Of course.
And then after another very short amount of time, Achilles is where the tortoise was, but in this time, the tortoise has already moved a little bit forward.
I don't see the paradox because Achilles isn't the premise that Achilles is faster than the turtle? His speed is faster.
There's no argument with speed here. It's the logical thinking that
he's always where the turtle has already been.
Yeah, that Achilles will never overtake the tortoise because whenever he's at the point where the tortoise was, the tortoise is already a certain amount ahead.
It's more of more like a rhetoric argument, I feel like. It's more like a language thing, isn't it?
No,
well, I mean, I don't see I'm not sure if I see the Like the idea is so he can never overtake the tortoise because everywhere he runs, the tortoise has been already. But at some point, he's overtaking the tortoise. When
yeah, it's obviously wrong. That's the point of Zeno's paradox.
But where's the paradox?
Well, this logic with when Achilles reaches the position of the tortoise has already moved a little bit ahead. Mm-hmm. This logic prevents Achilles from ever overtaking the tortoise.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and the answer to both of these paradoxes is actually very similar. It's almost the same. And the answer was really put into mathematics and physics by our good friend Isaac Newton, who invented the differential calculus. He invented it, just say it. And the answer to all these is limits. Mathematical limits and infinities. Because infinities are more common than you think and are less big than you think. I remember I talked with you once, and I told you, and we were debating about is the universe infinite or not, and is the universe expanding or not. And then I said, yeah, well, I mean, the universe could be infinite or not. We don't know, but we know it's expanding. And you were like, well, how is it possible? If it's infinite, then it's already everywhere. And then my answer was, that's not, because let's look at the natural numbers. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mm-hmm. How many are there? Infinitely many. But is the number -1/2 part of them? Well, no.
That is, There are bigger and smaller infinities.
Exactly.
It's true. Yeah.
And to answer these paradoxes, Zeno's argument was because Achilles would take infinitely many steps until he reaches the tortoise. Mm-hmm. Yeah? The steps become smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, but there are infinitely many. And Achilles' argument was a little bit like your universe argument. And if you sum up infinite amount of things, the sum has to be infinitely big. But that's actually not the case. You can sum up, you can make infinite series. A series is a sum. You can sum up infinite amount of things and still end up with a finite result. Mathematicians call this convergence.
What the fuck?
So, for example, let's take the series 1 plus 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/8, 1/16, and so on and so on. There are infinitely many.
It converges at some point.
Yeah. It will never overtake a certain value. And it's not only like I was under the wrong impression that it just gets closer and closer to a value.
But it is infinitely growing at the same time.
Well, it's infinitely. It's not infinitely growing.
You're constantly adding another number to it. It's constantly the number is constantly getting a bit bigger.
But it will never. There's a certain number that will never overtake. Which is absurd, right? You say
what the fuck?
You think about I add infinite amount of things and I can never get bigger than this one number.
Shit,
how is this even possible?
That is mindfuck, dude.
But
oh my god,
that is where Zeno was wrong.
Oh my
because
god.
He didn't know, or the solution to the paradox is just because you add up infinite amount of things doesn't mean that your sum will be infinitely big. So in this case, you add up, Achilles has to take infinitely arbitrarily small steps, but after a certain amount of time, he will have reached the tortoise and then overtake it. And so,
that is mindfuck, dude. you can have a number can infinitely grow, but
never grow past a certain number.
Never.
Yeah. I mean, the infinitely growing is maybe not mathematically correct.
Why is it not infinitely growing? You're always plus 1/4, plus 1/16, plus 1/32, plus 1 millionth.
Yeah.
It's always growing a bit. Or is it not? Or?
I mean, that's the thing about convergence. It kind of feels weird, right?
But it is growing.
You're thinking about like, okay, I have made a sum and now I've reached 2. What if I just add another thing to it?
Yeah.
But no, you will not reach 2 if you stop at one point. If you stop at a certain point. Your sum will get closer and closer to 2, but it will never reach 2 until you go infinite. That is the thing about it.
I hope you guys are as mind blown as I am right now.
And then your sum actually doesn't just get closer and closer to 2. It actually is 2. That is the one part where I personally in my studies was convinced the most, which I always thought, it just gets infinitely closer. But it doesn't just get infinitely closer, it actually is.
No, but it isn't though.
That's the point. It is.
No, but it is like metaphorically, but it isn't. But it isn't really.
You see where the problem is. Like it has to be really, but because we see that the Achilles thing is clearly Achilles overtakes the tortoise. So the infinite sum has to not only come close to reaching the tortoise, it has to get to the point where the tortoise is. It has to, like, but 1 plus a half.
But 2 doesn't equal Limes.
No, exactly. That is exactly what it's about.
But it doesn't
2
equal
equals Limes of this, the limit of this series.
But it doesn't actually equal.
It does. It is possible to compute infinite sums in mathematics. That is why infinities are unwieldy.
But it reaches 2 in infinity.
No.
Yeah, it reaches 2 in infinity. That's what you said. It reaches 2 only if it actually goes to infinity. Then it reaches 2. But actually it doesn't though. It doesn't actually though. It comes infinitely close.
No, it is 2. It doesn't come infinitely close to 2, it is 2.
No, it isn't. Why?
You can't think about
the fucking asymptote, man.
Yeah.
On the coordinate system.
Yeah, and asymptotic is it?
No, the x squared.
Yeah.
The parabol.
Yeah.
It goes. Doesn't it also align at some? Isn't there one axis that it one on the x-axis that it goes always closer, but it never really touches it?
No.
Oh,
X squared is not 1 over x. For example,
okay.
1 over x. You can't divide by 0, right? 1 durch x. Yeah? And when you compute that, or when you plot it, you will have a part of the graph that gets closer and closer to the y-axis.
Yeah, but so you're saying it at some point it touches it. You're saying it touches. No, because you're saying it is 2.
No. That's something completely different.
Oh fuck.
I'm talking about infinite sums here. Series.
Okay.
I'm summing things up. This an asymptote really never reaches the point.
But you can picture. But you can these Gleichungen. You can put them on a coordinate system. These Summen, these series.
Yeah.
You could put them in a coordinate system, and they would look like getting closer and closer to 2. That's what they would look like. They would get closer and closer to 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because your coordinate system cannot be infinitely big, of course.
Yeah, but then when it touches, okay. Let me hear you debunk this. Yeah. The moment it touches 2, it's still growing. So then it's 3.
No.
But then it can't touch 2.
Yeah.
Okay. It is infinitely growing by 1 of 16, 1 millionth. It's always getting a little bit bigger. So that when we go to infinity, it touches 2. But then it's still growing because we're still adding numbers.
No.
Why?
It will never reach 2 as long as you're still adding numbers.
This is so fucked.
I see where your problem is. Your problem is that you think that an infinite sum is never done, right?
Yeah, it's infinite.
Yeah. No, it has infinitely many Summanden.
Components.
Components, yeah. But it doesn't mean that it has no end. You don't have to do them one after the other, right?
Wait. What? Let's assume we're always adding another 1 plus 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/8 plus And we're never stopping. Let's assume we're never stopping.
See that's already like kind of difficult to say. With stopping, you mean like...
And we never stop adding
time,
numbers.
Or...
No, we never stop adding numbers. We infinitely add more. Oh, fuck.
So you're just saying every adding takes a finite amount of time, or...
I don't know, man.
Because for a mathematician, I don't talk about time here. Time has no bearing on this all.
It never ends. You keep adding numbers. And oh fuck, dude. Fuck. I don't understand why it is 2. It gets infinitely close to 2, but it will never actually become 2. Because if we say it is 2, we're still adding numbers, so then it will be bigger than 2.
Well, that's then
it's 3 at some point.
At
twice the infinity.
That is a divergent sum. We call this divergence. Because when your sum gets bigger and bigger, like for example, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, that sum will never reach a
bottleneck or
a boundary. It will just go towards infinity. By the way, this infinite series 1 plus 2 plus 3 is a different topic for another time,
okay.
But because it's actually -1 over 12. But
what the fuck?
Let's not talk about this.
Fuck that shit.
So there are series that diverge, that really get towards plus infinity or minus infinity, that will actually never stop growing or getting smaller. But there are convergent series. It's a very special thing that not all series have. That they actually, because for a mathematician, it's not impossible to sum up infinite amount of components in one thing. Like you have to let go of this thought that every summation, like you do it stepwise in a step, and then you add another bit of, you add another one, and then you add another one. It's possible for a mathematician to write this all into one action. Some infinite amount of things, boom, in one step, poof. And then they're all summed, and then you have 2. in the case of our series.
Exactly 2.
Exactly 2. Not more, not less. Exactly 2. And only because of these limits.
I will debunk you right now. How many items do I have in my hands? 2 or an infinite amount?
Well,
no, but I have 2 items in my hands. Not that no one's converging towards infinity here.
Okay, good
it's
example.
Not the same thing.
Here, my 2 hands. Yeah. They, with the argument of Zeno, it will be impossible for my left hand to reach my right hand
if both are moving.
Because no. This is fixed.
Okay.
Because to reach it, I first have to travel to the half. And then I have to travel to this half.
In relation to that.
And then I have to travel to this half. And with your the way you're saying it, I will never reach it because I always have to travel like
in relation to it.
Yeah.
You're always in relation to the thing.
Yeah. But it's infinitely many half steps that I have to take.
And you're getting infinitely close.
But it's actually no, I'm actually reaching it, right?
No, but you're not actually reaching it.
I mean, look here.
Well, obviously that's your hand doesn't work at some point. You're getting infinitely close. You're getting infinitely close, but you're never actually there.
I'm just talking about the position, okay? This hand just has to get to the position that this hand was in. Obviously, I did it.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Well, that was... You can go from here to here, of course. Yeah. But if you're saying mathematically, you're always going half the distance.
Yeah.
If you're always going half the distance, how would you ever reach it?
But that's the point of limits.
You can never reach it.
You can.
But you're going half in relation to it. Then at some point it must say, now you're going the whole distance. At the end of the infinity. It must say, okay, now you're going the whole distance.
There's no end of the infinity.
Well, there must be an end to the infinity if we're saying it reaches 2. Because then we say, okay, the last plus is a plus the distance now.
Yeah.
But it's always half the distance. So you're never actually reaching it. Yeah. Man, I'm not convinced. Fuck this.
Yeah. I mean, I see and I bewundere, I admire your stoicism here.
So what you're saying is a mathematical fact, right?
Yeah.
But do you... Okay, I can accept the mathematical fact. I have to accept it, of course. But do you actually see the... Do you think it's logically retraceable? Because I just don't see the logic in it. If you're always going half in relation to what you're reaching, you are never going to reach it.
No, I personally think that the way that the thing that opened my eyes is not to think about sums to be things that you do one after the other. Yeah? Even if I'm not always adding half a step, I'm doing the entire thing in one go, and then I see that it can be broken down into half step.
Okay, probably the audience is already pissed at me that I'm so fucking dumb. I get it. Everyone's a genius in the comment section. Everyone thinks Andy's so smart, I'm so dumb. I get it, okay? If you're honest to yourself, you fucking know that this shit that I'm right. But,
no. Don't be too harsh on Anton here. This concept is one of the big reasons why people think mathematics is unintuitive and absurd, and very hard. Of course, it is a concept that you in your normal life never have to consciously come in contact with. Infinities are everywhere once you know it, of course. But
even if you summieren sie alle at the same time, it's always in relation to the object you're trying to reach. There's never going to be the one that says in all the components. There's never one that says plus the leftover distance. It's always plus the leftover distance plus in relation to the object you're reaching. Even in infinity, I don't understand this. It's never 2. It's infinitely close to 2. Fuck, dude.
Infinities can be summed up.
Man, we're now actually at 2 hour. This is that was amazing.
Yeah. So okay, that was the solution that some people still don't accept to Zeno's paradox, to the tortoise paradox. There's a solution to the arrow not moving paradox is actually pretty similar. It's let's say. So the arrow is at position 1, and a second later, the arrow is at position 2. Then you can say, okay, half a second, then the arrow was at another position. And then you make this time period between them shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. But the fraction that you have, which is the speed, will always stay the same. Even if you if you make the time that you look at smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, it's also a mathematical limit. And in the limit, the time becomes the smallest possible value, but the speed still stays constant. The velocity of the arrow still stays constant. So at the smallest possible time, you still have a value for its speed, which is why movement is possible, of course. And then when you go into quantum mechanics, I'm sure there's a very smart-ass listener/viewer out there that says, well, I mean, in quantum mechanics, there's this uncertainty relationship. Yes, I know. Zeno probably didn't know that, though. His paradox didn't factor in quantum mechanics because in quantum mechanics, this entire arrow paradox is actually right and completely fucked. Yeah.
What the fuck? Fuck. Science is so fascinating, man. Oh my, I hope we could at least persuade one person here to go into science. That's already a win.
Dude, that would make me... You don't have to tell me. But
maybe in 5 years...
If it happens, it's good.
Imagine in... okay, we're actually almost done. Andi's thing just went off. So imagine in 20 years, we've seen some magazine. I was actually inspired by the Ranton Podcast. That'd be epic. Okay, Andi can't say bye now, but I will say bye. No, Andi, you can say bye.
Perfect time for the science segment, right?
Science segment.
Okay.
Take it away.
Good. So, guys, I'm currently in the last few months of my master thesis, and then I will be a graduated physicist, master of the universe, so to speak. And
real physics master.
Real physics disciple
reacts to laser.
Well, so I want to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about what I do on my master thesis, which is I work on a particle accelerator that accelerates electrons. And they then, when they're accelerated and you slow them down, they produce a very specific kind of radiation, which is very useful. Let's just say that. And to get these electrons out of something, we use a laser that shoots onto a copper rod. And when through the photoelectric effect, the photons that hit the copper are then, I'm just going to say, they turned into electrons. It's not correct, but yeah.
Oversimplified.
Yeah. Photons go onto the thing and electrons come off of the thing. And those are then accelerated. And I personally work on this laser. my master thesis is basically check this laser for, in German we would say hearts and kidneys. No, hearts and kidneys.
Herz und Niere.
Yeah, hearts and kidneys. So check everything about it. What's the power of the laser? How long? It's a pulse laser, so it doesn't go like, it's not one beam. It's more pulses, like
rapid fire.
Pew, 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 small shots. How long are these shots? And everything about that laser. And I thought I will tell you guys a little bit about how, let's make it Hollywood, how powerful this laser is. So the first difference is that there are CW lasers, which are the constant beams, and pulsed lasers. And usually when you see the specifics of a laser, you see it has this much power. And with a constant beam laser, you know, okay, this has, let's say, 5 watts, which means it has an energy of 5 joules in 1 second. But with a pulsed laser, these numbers don't really match, because between the pulses, there's nothing. So the entire energy is in the pulse. And these pulses, they're very short. And with very short, I mean, they're the shortest events humanity has ever produced. We're talking femtoseconds. I don't know if you've ever heard this term, femtoseconds. There's second.
Femto is the bad guy in Berserk who fucks his girlfriend.
Ooh. Yeah, you see how badass this is.
I think his name is Femto.
Yeah, so you have seconds, milliseconds, microseconds, nanoseconds, picoseconds, and then you get to femtoseconds.
Fuck's sake.
And this laser produces femtosecond pulses. Like the shortest one I've measured was 40 femtoseconds. And you now have to imagine that like our laser produces 6 watts or 7 watts of power. These 6 watts are in 40 femtoseconds. Not in 1 second. Femtoseconds. This entire energy is concentrated into this little pulse. So this sounds a little abstract. Let's give an example what it can do. I'm not allowed to do it, but I did it. I took a piece of paper and I turned the beam to maximum and focused it a little bit.
Should you say this?
Yeah, it's fine. It was in the name of science. Like I did a little experiment in a controlled environment. Everything's fine. Yeah, the whole place burned down, but it's fine. So yeah. And the paper that I took and put into the beam, it doesn't catch fire. The paper is gone. You take a small sheet of paper, you go through the laser, and your paper is fucking gone.
Where did it go?
Vaporized. Yeah, it turned into its molecular whatever.
The fuck, it's a Thanos snap. Holy shit!
This laser is capable of Thanos snapping the thing out of existence.
Fuck's sake!
Yeah, and that's the laser I operate. I kind of felt pretty fucking badass. Yeah, so that's that. And I was pretty happy, and I think this is one of the best master theses I could have gotten. But then I thought, okay, maybe for the podcast, we need to go bigger. And I searched up what are the most powerful lasers on Earth. And the numbers get pretty fucking big.
Yeah.
I gotta say. And also, like, we use this to produce the electrons in the particle accelerator. And we don't need this powerful of a laser, truthfully. Like, the laser we have is to be honest, it's much more powerful than we would want to. So I thought, okay, why would anyone then need a laser who's 100 times that power? And there's something in physics, something in accelerator physics that's coming up, guys. You heard it here first. It's a new kind of accelerator. Because accelerator experiments are currently the ones that are very promising to yield new physics, new, the LHC in Switzerland, which led to the discovery of the Higgs boson.
Teilchenbeschleuniger.
Yeah. That was a big thing. Like, it really solidified a big part of the standard model that we're using today. But the problem is, accelerating stuff is kind of difficult.
Fucking expensive too.
And at least to accelerate it to energies where new physics can be created. Yeah. And there's a plan at the moment to produce to construct an even bigger ring, but it's just a plan. And there's a new kind of accelerator currently being worked on and being researched on that could make this entire thing unnecessary. This accelerator is called a laser wake field accelerator. That's a fucking badass name, right?
You know what a wake is? A wake is if you like imagine a ship in an ocean, the part of the water behind the ship that's like all turbulent, that's its wake.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do is you take a laser pulse that's so powerful that the photons produce a plasma in their wake, like behind them. And this plasma, because it's charged particles, you get an electric field and you can accelerate stuff very fast. And to put it in perspective, how powerful these are. You know how long the LHC is? 24 kilometers or something. Yeah, huge, or 24 kilometers diameter. It's absurd. You get the acceleration power. Like, okay, maybe the numbers are a little bit out of whack, but laser wake field accelerators are this big. You get accelerations to, I don't want to tell any numbers that might be wrong, but you don't need more. Yeah? You can accelerate to energies that are already beyond anything you could do everywhere else.
Laser pointer this small?
No, on a length scale. You don't need to accelerate for 24 kilometers. You have this much to accelerate. And the electron in this small of a step has already more energy than in gigantic accelerators.
What the fuck?
And to do that, of course, there's a law of energy conservation and everything. You need very powerful lasers. And that's why people are building lasers that are more and more powerful. And dude, these lasers, they are so fucking Hollywood. Like, the laser I'm using shoots 1,000 times per second, which is, you don't hear a trrr, it's too fast. You pretty much just hear a constant. Yeah. But these ultra powerful lasers, they don't shoot multiple times a second. They shoot like once every half an hour. Like it's like the Death Star. They build power for half an hour and then they shoot.
What do you think happens? Like you said, if you put a piece of paper in front of your laser, it vaporizes. What happens if you put a person in front of the giant one? Right? That's death?
Well, I mean the laser, the pulse itself is probably not very large.
Yeah. Like if a hand through,
but I mean
the biggest one in the world.
The energy has to go somewhere. So
goes through your hand, burns straight a hole through it.
I don't want to say anything embarrassing here. So the real answer is no one knows. Like no one has tested it. These lasers are too expensive to do experiments like these.
Really? What if you put a fucking rabbit in
come on. Like because
goddamn
what kind of science is this going to produce?
the Chinese man speaking again. but just in case people are wondering, why do you guys study lasers? Like what is the benefit for normal people to study lasers?
Well, yeah, I mean, to some extent, lasers were invented for science, and then later they were like a CD drive runs on a laser, or like it's very hard for me to immediately put my finger on this technology. This came to be because it's such a gradual step. Like the way the process from a new scientific discovery to new usable technology that you can buy at your local Best Buy, it's not clearly traceable what the path there was.
For sure.
So I can just hope that you have faith that new science will inevitably lead to new things that you in the end can use.
Yeah. But maybe the in terms of energy, maybe that's something like energy.
Well, yeah.
Lasers. Or like Treibstoff, I don't fucking know.
At the moment, no, lasers aren't, because producing a laser pulse or laser beam by itself is a very energy negative process. Like you lose a lot. So I don't know how you can use lasers in producing energy at the moment. And I don't know if that field.
What is it good for?
Yeah. But yeah, so with this new laser or plasma wake field acceleration, guys, there's some new science on the horizon. There's something coming. I'm telling you this.
Holy shit.
In the next 10 years or 15 years, be generous. The refining of this technology will lead to some fucking awesome stuff.
Like what? Make it graspable. Like new TVs?
I cannot say this. Like, I don't know. Yeah. What
new cameras?
Because I, as many other physicists, don't know what we're gonna find.
Well, what should we look forward to? In what direction? New fridges?
Let's say let's make it simple and just say faster computers.
Faster computers.
Yeah. I mean, quantum computers are a big research field at the moment, and maybe it will lead to a breakthrough in this point. I cannot say. I don't know. Yeah. If I would say anything, I would be BBCing it. So yeah,
big black cock.
I just know that there will be a lot of new physics being discovered in the next 10 years.
Damn.
All thanks to these very powerful lasers.
All thanks to the
of
research.
Which the most powerful is the Hercules laser. Hercules laser in Michigan. Yeah. So thanks, Americans. Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama. Yeah.
That was that.
Okay, we are at pretty much exactly 2 hours now.
Good plan this time. Which is very bad because I haven't talked about my science topic yet.
Oh, let's do it then.
Yeah, you sound very excited, you fuck.
No, but, how much time do you think you need for this?
Just 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. 50, I believe. No. So, okay, the thing I've prepared for this time, I always try to pick a topic that has a little bit to do with what I do. And if you're watching from the beginning, it says something there on the podcast?
No, it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah,
copying on the
it's
other
gonna
flash
explode.
It's all good.
Yeah. If you're watching since the beginning, I talked about that I'm currently working in a building that is under construction. And the company that's going to move in there is a biology analysis lab. So what do they do? Well, if you've ever been to a doctor and pooped into something and sent the poop to a doctor, or the doctor wants to look at your poop, then since these experiments are usually involving very expensive machinery, the doctors don't do the experiments themselves, but they send it to a lab. The lab has different, they test for, do you have this problem or this disease or something. And while working there, I realized, they're working with sometimes live, how do you say, Erreger, Krankheitserreger, germs, stuff that that can cause diseases. Yeah, they're sometimes live. Isn't there some protection? And then I went into a little bit of research, and yes, there are. There are 4 levels, 4 different classes of how dangerous a stuff that can make you sick.
Look it up. How to say this word?
Look it up. Erreger. It goes from the least dangerous, which is S1.
A pathogen.
Pathogen. Okay. Yeah. There's some live
or
pathogens
an agent virus.
So it goes from the least dangerous S1 to T virus level S4.
Ebolate.
Yeah. And I just want to give you guys a little bit of an example, what are we talking about? So S1, let's start poopy. S1, basically anything that works with live organisms is already S1. Literally, if you're working with yeast, you're already S1. Yeah. So you can consider S1 to be a fucking bakery.
So anything biological is S1.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Any live organism.
What does S stand for?
In German, it's Schutzklasse.
Or protection.
Security class, something. Yeah. So then we go to level 2. That's where things start to become interesting. Because S1, usually the things you're working with in S1 can't really make you sick. They can, everything can make you sick if you overdo it or whatever, but they're not really pathogens. They're just live organisms. In S2, we start to get into it can already cause some problems. For example, what do we have here? Typical diseases like norovirus, or the hepatitis A, for example.
Or the common cold?
The common cold, yeah. No. That's already pretty high level, yeah.
Oh, shit.
But, okay. So, yeah, common, or some molds. Molds are usually S2. Mm-hmm. There's this one mold that's rumored to be the cause of the curse of the pharaoh. Do you know?
No.
There's this urban legend that the grave of the pharaoh had a message written on it. It said do not open this grave, you will be cursed and you will die. And shortly after opening the grave, half of the expedition team died.
That's not an urban legend. There's a grave that was open and the people died later because of the...
No, the inscription. you will be cursed and you will die. That's an urban legend.
Okay.
It didn't say anything like that.
Okay.
But there was this phenomenon that after opening the grave,
because they open up some fucking 2,000-year-old.
Exactly, and one of these moles that was living there is rumored to be the cause of this curse there. And that's also one of those things that are S2. Now, to protect there, it's basically still pretty relaxed. You just have to wear a lab coat, wear
protection here though.
Not even. Like all the pathogens aren't airborne. They aren't airborne if you don't make them. And just wear gloves and wash your hands. Ladies must wash hands.
Don't forget to wash your dick.
Yeah. And then we get into the cool part. S3. Shit. And
Ouroboros.
S3, there's already they're not joking anymore. The S3 labs need to be built in such a way that they can be like completely airlocked off from the rest of the facility. Like if something happens in an S3 lab, someone needs to push a button and it's like fucking
it's quarantine shit.
Completely locked up. Like there's no air.
There's nothing between S2 and S3.
No.
S3 can be deadly probably then.
S3, well,
S2 can already be deadly.
S2 can already be deadly, yeah. But in S3 we're talking about like the real diseases. The Black Plague, for example. Yeah.
Oh my god, what's gonna be S4?
The Black Plague is
like malaria and shit?
Malaria is I think is S3. Then
Ebola?
I'm not 100% sure. I wrote it down and
okay.
Sadly I forgot. But yeah, just the typical diseases that that are kind of like
pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
And then for this you have to, but then the people who work there also have complete protection then.
Actually, the people working there, they have to like wear, of course, lab coat, gloves, and protection here. But there's still sometimes, yeah. It always, like, the rules slightly change depending on what you're working with. For example, if you're working with a parasite, then it doesn't matter if you're like wearing protection glasses, something. Yeah, but you're already only allowed to work with them like under a clean bench. Have you seen one of those? It's like a bench that has a glass screen in front of it.
And then you put the hands in
and then you put the hands in there, but not like in gloves. You put your real hands in there, you work with it, and there's a constant airflow so that nothing
escapes to your hands.
Escapes to you.
But you have gloves on, of course.
Yeah. And that's S3. And in the lab that I'm currently working in the building constructing for, they have an S3 lab. And that's already pretty fucking exotic. Like, most labs don't. And I'm currently walking around, like, of course, there's nothing being done in the S3 lab at the moment, but I'm walking around inside of a fucking S3 lab, and they're the clean benches and the medical equipment is already there, and then I'm like, oh, dude,
I can't wait to inhale some of these viruses.
I'm feeling like a pretty fucking badass friend. Oh yeah, and they use the lab for tuberculosis. That is the S3 they are using it for. Which is kind of interesting, right? They're building this multi-million-dollar lab just for one disease, for testing.
But tuberculosis
one
is
disease.
pretty common.
But tuberculosis it's pretty common, and it's actually pretty fucking dangerous.
Yeah, of course.
Like many years back, it was death sentence.
I don't want to say. Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, but they use this for tuberculosis, which is also S3 level dangerous.
Okay.
Now we get to S4. S4 is so weird. On this entire planet, there are maybe 20 S4 labs.
What the fuck?
Or 30, let's say. 10 or so in the US. And the next country in the list is Germany.
Germany?
4. And the diseases that are classified as S4, there are only 5. Or 7 or something. Less than 10.
Are they even real diseases?
Less than 10 diseases
or
are
they
S4.
Created by the government.
One of them, the most common, is smallpox.
Oh.
You know smallpox.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
A disease that is pretty much eradicated.
Anti-vaxxers, yay. Idiots.
Yeah. So smallpox is one of them. One of the S3 diseases I forgot is anthrax, which is kind of... Anthrax sometimes gets said like it's one of the most dangerous things in the world, right? People even thought about using it as a weapon.
Yeah.
S3. S4 is a whole nother level. So smallpox, big one. And the other ones, you probably have never heard of them. At least I have never heard of them. Like, for example, one of them is the Krim-Congo fever.
Fuck.
Or the Lassa fever.
Sounds creepy just thinking about it.
Yeah, the names, like, it's the hemorrhaging Krim-Congo fever.
Oh my god.
Like,
fuck.
they pretty much...
the moment you get it, like...
Yeah, pretty much. Like, all of these diseases are... like hemorrhaging fevers. Even the name like already gives me like chills.
The moment you get it, it's Mortal Kombat X-ray movie.
Yeah, you get fatality'd by the move instantly.
Well, honestly, these sites are probably heavily militarized.
Actually, no. They're usually, like, I don't know how it is in the US, but in Germany, these labs are always part of
next to
research institutes, of universities.
Next to a Lidl.
Angebot by Lidl. Yeah, and so smallpox is one. The fevers there. I think there was one more that I forgot. But it's only viruses. So the S1 to 3 had parasites. They had fungus. They had bacteria. S4 only viruses can reach this level of dangerousness. And these S4 labs are usually built in these tropical institutes. And institutes that research diseases that actually are new. Like, for example, like the Lassa fever. These fevers that I'm talking about, they don't happen here. Mm-hmm. Which is like, it's weird because I try to paint them in such a dangerous way, but there's actually zero chance for you to contract it if you like walk out on the street. Because their pathogens are limited to tropical
But
places.
of course, we still have to research them in case somebody would use them.
If a banana from somewhere where that fever actually exists gets imported here, then that's a way it could reach us. Yeah.
Damn.
And S4, so now that I've told you a little bit about the diseases that exist there, how do you prevent or how do you work with them? Well, that's the place where Hollywood gets its inspiration from. Now you have these... Like
orange.
To even get in there, you have to shower in acid.
So it's real.
Of course, it's real.
I always thought this shit is just for the movies.
No.
Like in this Hitman level, where you wear the orange complete bodysuits and you have to walk through the
decontamination. Yeah.
Is that some real shit?
It's real. Yeah.
Damn.
So what do you have to do? First, you have to get butt naked. Then you
jack off.
You shower, normal shower, not in acid. Then
first acid shower.
X-ray move. Then after being clean on the skin layer, you put on your inner suit. Then after putting on your inner suit, you put on your outer suit. And that is the inspiration that Hollywood always takes with these huge helmets that have like a huge glass wall, but you're like inside them. They look like spacesuits a little bit, right?
Yeah. And they're like orange, right? Always.
The color doesn't.
Yeah, okay. I think. Or white.
Yeah. And why do you do that? Why do you like have to wear a undercoat and then a second one?
Just another protective layer.
These coats are like you're not free to walk around. You're wired to a oxygen connection because they're completely sealed tight.
Wait, they're airtight?
Yes. If they weren't like connected to the outside with oxygen, you would actually suffocate in them.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And not
what if another researcher just steps on your pump? Like, hey Thomas, how you doing?
Well, you would probably notice.
Wait,
right?
what the fuck?
And so another trick they use is the oxygen supply you're getting pumps in with high pressure. So you'll always look like bloated Marshmallow Man. And why do they do that? Because if you somehow puncture the suit, the air pushes out. Right? If the pressure inside the suit...
But still, you would have to get the fuck out of there.
Well, I mean, you're probably done for.
But isn't it easier to puncture, though, if it's blown out?
No. It's
like a balloon is easy to puncture, right? Because it's like... If it's blown out to the max, if you're like this, one needle, boop. No?
Well, you're not a balloon. The air being pumped inside is not like you're not constantly getting like. No. It's there's a balance. Right?
Okay.
So yeah, that's what they do, and yeah, after putting on the second overcoat, you have to shower in fucking acid. Dude.
Like, but what kind of acid is it? Do you know? Like, is it dangerous? Would it be dangerous to your skin? Like, or is it just some?
I don't want to say. Like, I'm not sure there. I don't think so. But it's also, I mean, it has to kill the
Has to kill some pretty vicious bacteria.
No, viruses.
Viruses, yeah. Man,
it's hard to say. I don't know, but yeah.
Oh man.
And like if S3 needed to be sealed, S4 basically needs to be in like its own pocket fucking universe.
Yeah.
There has to be every breath or every air molecule inside an S4 lab is never allowed to leave until it is like thoroughly recycled and cleaned up. And yeah,
that is some fascinating shit, man.
Too bad we don't have an S4 lab in the building we're constructing.
Do we have one here in the south?
I think in Munich there's one. There's one in Munich.
That is crazy.
Yeah. There's one institute of the World Health Organization in Germany, but I think it's in northern Germany. I think it's even one of the places where World War Z takes place.
Maybe, yeah. Fuck.
So yeah, I always thought that was pretty fucking cool. Imagine like walking through these labs that will soon be like completely sealed off.
Imagine working there though.
Yeah.
That's scary. That is scary. Not gonna lie, that's scary.
Well, I've spoken with a little bit with the people working there, and I'm sure everyone knows that like once you work with something that is like very absurd to some people, it becomes completely normal to you.
Yeah, I guess even for those people who work in the level 4 lab, if you just stick to the rules, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, nothing's gonna happen, exactly. Yeah.
But if something else happens, it's shit.
And then I'm not finished. There's actually S5. No. No.
That is
for the exactly, for the G virus.
Okay.
The T virus would be
You said it was going to take you 15 minutes.
And
exactly 15.
That's my master presentation skill.
Holy shit. All right, guys.
That's it for me.
You have 10 minutes for a science segment.
Awesome. So
two science segments today.
Listen, since the last podcast, I came to realize the power I have during the science segment. If you remember what I said, what I did as a science segment last time about virulent diseases and the risk classes of diseases from 1 to 4, and look where we are now. So I have decided to do something really tame and non-dangerous and safe for this science segment. But it still has, you fucker.
I don't know if the mic picked that up. I just fired it again.
It still has something to do with physics and science, so I think it's a fitting subject. The thing I want to talk about this time is the South Pole. Now, first you might think, what's so interesting about the South Pole? It's an arbitrary point on the Earth. What? But actually, the South Pole has a few great properties that make it very suitable for scientific experiments, which is why the South Pole actually has its own very big research station. No? It's the something Amundsen something. I'm sorry, I forgot the name. Research station. And when I looked into it, I realized that the South Pole research station is actually like so fucking Hollywood and awesome. You wouldn't fucking believe it.
Did you prepare a document there for us?
I mean, it's a lot of information. So
holy shit!
There's when you go into the official website of the National Science, I think something. I keep forgetting the abbreviation.
That doesn't matter.
There's a little bit of a map, a schematic map of the South Pole Station, and the South Pole Station is separated into 4 sectors. Now check these names. You have one sector that is the downwind sector. The downwind sector is unusable because very high speed winds go through the sector and nothing can go there.
I'm getting some video game ideas right now.
I mean,
holy shit.
Come on, yeah. There's a downwind sector where you cannot go because the frosty blizzard winds of the South Pole will immediately destroy you.
Fuck.
It's like, I don't know if you guys have played Soma, the game. There's one section at the end where you walk along the ocean floor and there's like a fault line and there's a huge currents coming from the fault line. And that's exactly what I envision when I think about...
Reminds me of Lost Planet.
Jeez, it's crazy, yeah? There's the downwind sector. And then, next to it, we have the quiet sector. Why is it called the quiet sector? Because no vibration sources are allowed there. The lab there is made for extremely high sensitivity seismic measurements. Like the South Pole Station can detect earthquakes anywhere around the world, because it's so like the background noise is basically non-existent in the quiet sector. You're not even allowed to fucking speak.
For real?
No, that's like when I was in the lab, we had a microscope, which is a what's it called? Scanning microscope. And when someone let the door like fall shut, it basically destroyed one of the needles.
What?
One of the microscope
The
needles.
little air of
No, because the vibration of the door goes into the concrete, and then it goes into the floor and destroys one of the needles.
Jesus Christ.
And imagine we're living in a city. This quiet sector has none of that. It's basically as quiet as you can possibly get on this earth. Awesome. Like it's like a quiet place, but on the South
Honestly,
Pole.
the video game just writes itself.
Yeah. Next up. That name's a little bit less Hollywood, but still, it's the clean sector. What's the clean sector? Everyone is bald? No, it's the clean sector does, as you probably have guessed, atmospheric studies. Studies about the composition of the air and the atmosphere, and maybe about how it, how is this on the South Pole different than on other parts of the Earth. It's basically atmospheric measurements and weather measurements for on a larger scale, like unpolluted by civilization. And the best one I saved for last. The dark sector.
Oh, fuck. That's even the name of video game.
Yes,
Dark sector.
I know. There's a place on the South Pole that's called the Dark Sector, and in its center is the Dark Sector Lab.
Imagine you work at the Dark Sector Lab.
You're in the dark sector and you're staring down into the downwind sector with these high velocity blizzards going in front of you. And why is the dark sector dark? Well, I mean, that's a very physicist way of looking at it. Dark is the absence of light, and light is electromagnetism. So the dark sector is basically the sector without any electromagnetism.
How do you measure shit without electrical devices?
Well, that's the point. You keep everything extremely, like all the electronics are extremely isolated from each other. You want no like coupling effects.
Interesting.
No phones, like
yeah, of course.
Very low amounts of electricity and pollution, electric pollution. And why do you need that there? Well, the main reason is there are two telescopes in the dark sector.
You want to see the stars?
Yes.
Okay.
But they don't measure like visible light. They measure like radio frequencies and radio frequencies and like frequencies that would usually be out, like get lost in the noise of normal electromagnetic. I'm going to call it pollution, but normal electromagnetic noise of human civilization. And in the dark sector, you have none of that. But it's called a fucking dark sector. What the hell?
This would be a great game.
If you find the time, just Google Dark Sector Lab, and you will see the building of the Dark Sector Lab. It even looks like a fucking stage from some obscure video game. Yeah, like Resident Evil 500 will play. Yeah,
that's crazy.
And that is all around the South Pole.
What country is running the countries share the South Poles? As far as I know?
like the main advantage of these joint science cooperatives is that it's basically no country that runs it. I don't even think the Antarctica is like it's really clear who Antarctica.
No, I think there are some disputes, but I once saw like a image of the Antarctica and like a pie diagram. Different countries claim different parts. I think it's actually quite convoluted.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, but
it's oftentimes that when scientists get together, the country things. Like
scientists don't.
They get along. Yeah.
Holy moly.
So yeah, I hope I don't.
This was actually perfect because now
I don't create the next absolutely destructive winter until I do my next science segment.
That's almost like Death Stranding. I could imagine like Death Stranding 2 in the South Pole.
What the? When I read this, I was like,
that's insane.
Thank you.
That's insane. Do you have a science segment today?
Yes.
Do you want to give it a small teaser?
I have a science segment, Double Strike. With kind regards from my wife, who's a biologist. I have a little bit of biology today, so don't roast me too hard.
How much time do you think we need for both issues? Because
I can make the first very small strike right now because it has something to do with The Last of Us 2.
Perfect. Then let's do we only have 8 podcast questions, so let's do the mini sign, the double strike one now.
So I hope I haven't done this before in our podcast as a science segment, but do you know that the fungus of The Last of Us actually exists?
I feel like we talked about fungus before, but not okay, go on.
Yeah, so it's never clearly stated in the game, I think. But the concept of a fungus taking over or infecting living organisms and taking over their sensory or motoric, mechanic, I don't know how you call that, systems, that's actually not science fiction.
Yeah,
that is nature.
And it's fucking vile.
And they're called cordyceps. And I recently realized they're a essential part of traditional Chinese medicine. They're even being gezüchtet,
fed, bred, or
cultivated, created. Yeah. And I don't want to do foreshadow the next apocalypse again containing China. So just so you know, it's traditional Chinese medicine. But these fungi, they're extremely unique in that usually a fungus just grows somewhere and then absorbs nutrients from where it grows. But the cordyceps have evolved to a state where they're actually infecting hosts, and instead of just using the stuff that the host has in them to feed, they make the host go somewhere even better.
How does this work?
A big one is the cordyceps that affects ants.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you've seen it. It's a nightmarish picture of an ant using its mandibles to lock in position, and then waiting there until the cordyceps literally grows out of its head.
Yeah.
You have like this fungus growing out of the head of the ant. And so the fungus is so specialized, and I think it's one of the magics of evolution theory. Like, the fungus is so specialized because overtaking a brain is not like simply overtaking a brain. Yeah. A brain is made out of billions of neurons.
But an ant brain.
So why does this not happen for humans and only for insects? Because of course an ant brain is very small.
Yeah.
It's nothing near our number of neurons, basically, and therefore, maybe through enough time and enough iterations and mutations, a fungus was able to develop
perfect key.
The perfect key to basically infect the brain of an ant and shut down its immune system so the fungus doesn't get killed, and take over the motorics. So
I saw a video about this in a nature documentary where ants are also now over time have been able to detect ants who have it,
and kill them,
and they drag them away. They throw them away as far away as possible.
Nature never stays still, of course, but this fungus, and it's not the only life form that does the taking control of a host and then forcing the host to do things. There's also, it gets even weirder, there's a parasite that can infect snails, and that's like where shit gets really science fiction and horror mode. Just Google parasite infecting snail. If you Google this and you go to images, I guarantee you it will be in at least one of your next nightmares. The parasite infects the brain of the snail and also forces it to go to places where it can grow and spread the best. And what happens is that the eyes of the snail swell and turn into these huge horns, basically. But you know how a snail looks. Its skin is translucent. So inside of these horns, you have like the parasite doing like these oscillating motions, and it looks like hypno eyes.
What?
It's fucked up. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fucking.
So yeah.
But how? Over millions and millions of years, this parasite was able to adapt itself to perfectly control the ant / the other parasite, the snail. But like you said, our brains are so complex.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think something like The Last of Us is ever maybe possible?
No. I personally think Because I mean, there's a reason why it only affects the smallest of the smallest.
Even like a praying mantis would already not be able to be controlled.
Insects are like. All insects are so small, and their brain is made out of so few neurons that maybe for insects.
I saw a praying mantis being killed by a fungi, but then he just died and it grew out of his head. Like, but he didn't control him.
That's the point. Like a fungi that infects a fungi can. There's probably a fungi for every living thing on this planet. But just having a fungi grow on you and then absorb nutrients from you, that's simple. Simple. Having like a fungi that controls the brain, that is where the real craziness happens. Yeah.
Fuck.
A fungus.
Fungi are scary.
Yeah.
Like I saw this like not stop motion, like time lapse of the of this thing growing out of the praying mantis's head, and it goes higher and higher. It's like, oh my God. Imagine dying, something's growing in you, popping out. It's.
I mean, the poor ants, they're not like dead. I mean, they're. I don't want to go into this. Though animals have consciousness and everything, but the ant is just her motorics being controlled, not her behavior. So I would assume that the ant is still wanting to do something else.
How does the fungus control the
I mean, there are experiments. Do you know that people with open brain surgery, if the surgeon accidentally touches certain parts of the brain, will have like reflexes?
Yeah, like on frogs.
It's this. That's the mechanic that the fungi use.
Incredible.
But they don't use it chaotically, so it's spasms, but it's like movement.
Do they walk weird?
They walk very weird, and I think that's how other ants notice them. Yeah.
Incredible.
So yeah,
man, nature is fucked. I would like to talk to a biologist about your wife, basically. How realistic is the idea of zombies? Because I think that one of the reasons why zombies are so cool, such a mainstream phenomenon, that's so interesting, is because they're not that absurd to us. No, right? Let's be real.
Well, yeah.
They're not that absurd. They are absurd, but they're not that absurd. They're essentially a disease that makes human beings go so crazy that we attack each other. That's the bottom line of zombies.
Yeah.
Not necessarily eat.
Yeah.
We go so crazy that we start to attack and maybe bite each other.
Yeah.
That is, like, we can kind of imagine that being the case.
But that's
rabies are the tollwood.
That's not a biology problem, right? That's a sociological thing. Like people going crazy and attacking each other.
Well, right. that happens already, true. But have you talked to Sabrina about this ever? If she could imagine a virus that could turn people into quasi-zombies? What does she think?
I mean, my wife and I came to this conclusion that there are life forms on this planet overtaking other life forms. So, I mean, it's currently just happening on the smallest of scales. And I personally think it's improbable, impossible, for that to happen to more complex life forms. But it seems in my head to be just a small step. So, yeah.
Right. All it takes is one meteor to crush into our planet who has some weird ass shit on it.
Yeah. But
so if a bag of marbles.
I think the
you remember the marble?
So now deliver the second part of the science.
Okay, let's go, baby.
Okay, now just this little disclaimer: it's a biology topic, and some of you, once I say what the topic is, you might already tune out because you think it's boring. But believe me, I think it's a subtly interesting topic.
Low-key interesting.
Yeah, it's low-key interesting. And the topic is plant communication. So, you know that a big part of the biomass of our planet is plants. When you see the planet from space, it looks blue from the water and green from the trees. So plants are a big part of life here on Earth. And I always, to me as a kid, it always seemed like plants were so primitive and slow, and you could just pluck a flower, now you're dead. Yeah. But wouldn't they have died out if they were so easily destroyed? Destroyed.
Well, they're in masses. Powerful.
So, and it turns out, in the last 30 years, it's crazy to me, but actually we knew basically nothing about plants. Yeah, they were always this primitive thing that's just growing. And in the last 30 years, there have been studies made by different institutes that have come to incredible conclusions. And they're one of the reasons why plants are so successful on this planet. And one of the big things is that they actually aren't as primitive as we think. Plants have social interaction. There's a social feature to plants, which is like, it sounds completely absurd. But here, picture this. So the experiments that I'm going to quote here were done with tomatoes. And like many other plants, tomatoes have enemies, bugs or the larvae of many insects that eat
snails.
Them. Yeah. And they don't eat them in a good way like birds and then poop the seeds somewhere else. No, they eat them and destroy them. So, and it always seemed to me like once a plant is infected, oh yeah, tough luck, it's dead. So the larvae will eat through the entire colony. But they never do. Why? And as it turns out, the plants can communicate with each other on a level of, guys, I'm being attacked. Guys, there's this larva attacking me. I currently am unable to defend myself against it, but here is the blueprint for a chemical that will inhibit this larvae's growth.
What?
Like get this, yeah? You have two rows of tomato plants, and you infect or you blow air on them, and for one field you have the air go through a colony of this insect, and for the other you just have clean air, and then you put the insect onto the tomato plants, and the one who had gotten the wind of them have already created a defensive system against them. What? Even the plants who weren't in direct contact with the wind.
What kind of wind is blown on them?
So you just have a room, and you have a wind machine, yeah, and you like make wind blow through the room. And for one of the experiments, you had the wind go through or go past some of these larvae.
So that the smell of the larvae
or certain particles, yeah, reach the plants, and even those that weren't directly in the wind were informed, so to speak, by the ones inside the wind that there was an attack of this.
This insect is near.
Yeah, this insect is near. Prepare yourself by building this chemical that inhibits their growth.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Is this in a scientific journal?
Yes. And like this opens up a whole new way of thinking about huge colony, or no, they're not called colonies, but huge
community.
It's basically a community of plants, right?
It
doesn't become like there are many sunflowers growing there, but it's like a community.
Checkmate, vegans. What are you gonna
honestly?
What are you gonna do?
So there's it opens up this huge like part of plant intelligence that was never before.
When was this figured out?
In the last 30 years. This research has been going on.
Do trees have the same thing?
Yes, trees. With trees, it was a little bit known, but not to the extent. Like trees also have this Borkenkäfer, for example. It's a big problem, but it was never really that much understood because there are actually cases where
But trees are not always connected very well with other trees. Like a tree can only communicate, or a plant can only communicate to another plant if there's some sort of root connection.
They usually connect by
roots.
Roots, yeah, roots and soil. They send like, for example, the roots of this one plant give off a certain chemical that the other plant then absorbs through its roots, and that's the way they communicate.
Or maybe could it be possible?
Water.
Could it be possible that it works like but then the wind.
Yeah.
Could it be possible that it's just not really communication, but the other plants just sense the chemicals from the one plant dying, and then has it been figured out that they create different kinds of hormones or chemicals for different
parasites? Yeah.
So that's also been determined.
Yeah.
That is absolutely insane.
Crazy, right?
And in retrospect, that kind of makes so much sense because that's how plants fucking survived all this.
Yeah, exactly. It was always a paradox. Like, if plants are so pathetic, how do they cover most of our planet? Yeah, but they're actually not as pathetic as you think. They're extremely versed in defense.
And in a funny way, they're more complex than we can understand.
They're actually the definition of alien, right? It seems so alien. Plants communicating through their roots, and what the fuck?
Has it been substantiated in any way? Do we know, like, handfest, what is being transmitted here?
Not like it
must be a chemical or a hormone.
At the moment, every plant communicates in a different on a different chemical way. So the stuff that a tomato plant sends out is vastly different from, let's say, what a sunflower sends out or something. So there hasn't been yet a
causation, right?
Like Verallgemeinerung, a generalization of if a plant gets attacked, it sends out this molecule.
So isn't that causation, correlation? Like, correlation has been determined, but we're still figuring out what the cause of this is, right?
Well, no. I mean, it is. You have a causal connection between insects or parasites attacking a plant and the plant.
But causation means once we know what. Isn't causation like we know when this happens, this happens? That's a correlation.
That's correlation.
Genau, right. Yeah. And that's
causation is we know when this happens because this happens.
Right. Okay, yeah, we know that too.
People who eat bread die, but we also know that just because you eat bread, it doesn't mean you don't die because you eat bread.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Damn.
So yeah, I was kind of struck when I heard about this, and this is ongoing research. Like, this is, I personally would assume, like, that's a wishful thinking on my part maybe, but I would assume that this entire situation that the world is in right now would maybe put biology and biology research at a little bit of a higher position than it is now, and I think that is super interesting. And the fact that we have still discoveries on this scale to be made today, that just speaks for the importance of it, I think.
Absolutely.
And,
how is that possible? Yeah. So essentially, when you see on the side of the street a bunch of flowers, they're a community.
Yeah. You can. I think that you couldn't be faulted for thinking that. Another effect, kind of related to that, is some forests. When you in a forest and you look up, and the forest is really dense, you would imagine that the trees always try to block out each other, but they're actually not doing that. Trees of the same type or art actually always leave little spots, little cracks in between them and others, so they never block out each other's sunlight.
They do that?
Yeah.
What the fuck can they see? Don't they have to touch first to see that there's
no.
Or maybe the roots. The roots
yeah,
are.
I think
it's
crazy, right? Yeah.
I'm thinking.
It sounds. When I said it out loud, plant communication. It sounds so boring, but
where's the brain of the? Where's this mechanism taking? Where's the decision making taking place?
Everywhere. Plants don't have a brain, right?
They are one big brain.
They. You can imagine them a little bit like a squid. Qualle.
A jellyfish.
A jellyfish, yeah. Jellyfish don't have brains. Their entire body is like nerve strands. But they're capable of making a very rudimentary form of decision, just as plants.
Have there been tests yet to figure out if plants have some sort of recognition? Like if they can remember? If they have some sort of memory?
Yes, I think
like this thread has been there before.
Yeah,
now
I think my wife told me something about it. I'm not 100% sure.
Maybe we can revisit this next time.
Yes.
That would be interesting to see.
You think it's interesting enough to revisit it?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, how? Because then the information has to be stored somewhere.
I think so. I think that's what they do.
Couldn't you be able to test that? You take one group of plants that you continuously expose to a certain type of thread, and you have another group of plants that don't get exposed to any thread, and then after a year you take both these plants and you compare them. There must be differences.
You look at how much damage the thread does.
Not just damage. You look at their biological composition, the material they're made of. Maybe the one plant, because of continuously producing the chemicals against that thread has become maybe inconsistency more hard to pull, or something like this.
That's evolution in action, I think. What you're describing there. Yeah.
And then you have to check if the seed of these new plants
also have this.
No, that's probably not the case though.
Well, I mean, with this discovery, I wouldn't say anything.
No, because then at this point, all plants would be already immune to all the parasites.
Yeah, true.
So, man, this is some fascinating shit.
And this communication, I think, goes even beyond just enemies. It also goes to where, like if a field of tomato plants grows further and further, and one direction has more fertile soil, I think there's also a way for them to communicate in which direction to grow. But
I've always known that plants grow towards the sun, like the sun.
Yes.
But this is like a next level shit. And now science segment.
So the thing is, over the last few months, quite a few possible science segments have come up, right? And I thought I've decided, then I've found something new. So I'm going to do 2 rapid fire ones and 1 bigger one.
Okay.
So the rapid fire one. First, Anton, why?
I already fucked up.
Okay.
Why cannot?
Okay. Anton, why can't you divide by 0?
I actually know this, I think. I knew once the mathematical explanation.
Okay, here's the spoiler. You can. This statement of you can't divide by 0, really hot take here. It's actually wrong. So.
No, but I remember the mathematical equation was quite simple.
Yeah.
In the end, it's like 1 = 0 or some shit.
No. No. You don't. Pass off. Listen up. Okay. Everyone, I don't have anything to write here, so you.
Yes. Can I very quickly?
Yeah.
X. Okay. Imagine this. X equals 1 divided by 0. Then times 0. Then you have 0 = 1.
What? No. Then you have X = 1.
No, because you divided X by 0. You multiplied X with 0. You have X, X equals 1 divided by 0 times 0. Then it's 1 = 0.
Okay.
Is that not correct?
Well, we'll get to it. You will maybe understand later why. So here's the thing. I don't have anything to write here, so I'm going to do this comprehensively. Maybe you can write along to if you don't understand it or re-listen. So picture the simple function 1/x, 1 durch x. Okay, very simple function. Now let's put in some numbers. X = 10, so it's 1 divided by 10. That is 0.1. Okay, let's put in 5. So it's 1 divided by 5, 0.2. That's a little bit bigger. Then you put in X = 1, so you have 1 divided by 1 = 1. You put in a half, right? So if you imagine the coordinate system, we're getting closer to the coordinate Ursprung.
The 0 point?
Yeah, or the origin, sorry. So you put in 1 divided by a half, you get 2. You put in 1 divided by 0.1, you get 10. And you realize that the smaller the number is that you put into the denominator, the bigger your result. And if you get smaller and smaller, right, you divide by smaller and smaller numbers, your result will get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Divide by 0, it's infinite.
So, and then at some point you get ever closer to 0 and your result gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you reach 0 and your result reaches infinity. So, where's the problem, right? Divide by 0 is equal to infinity. Well, nicht so schnell. Now, let's approach from the other side. You put in 1 divided by -1 is -1. 1 divided by minus a half is -2. So you realize the numbers get smaller and smaller. And now you put in like smaller and smaller numbers into the denominator, but negatives, and then your result will get huge negative numbers.
What if it's -1?
So if you
-0, I mean, the fuck? So then it's like, I imagine on a coordinate system it's like this.
Yeah, exactly, right? And if you approach from the negative side, the function throws out values that are smaller and smaller,
Yeah,
right?
it's like this, right?
Huge negative numbers. And now you realize the problem. If you approach from the negative side, dividing by 0 actually gives you minus infinity.
But that's also what the graph, I only know this in German.
Ja.
F von x ist gleich 1 durch x.
Ja.
Sieht ja auch so aus.
Exactly.
Das ist ja diese Funktion.
Yeah, it looks like that, right? But you realize the problem now. Dividing by, also 1 divided by 0 from one direction equals plus infinity, and 1 divided by 0 from the other direction equals minus infinity. We have a problem here. You have an expression that is undefined. And
meaning there are two y values for the same x value?
Exactly. Yeah. And that is the main problem with dividing by 0. It's not like there's some universal law that prevents you from, like, dividing by 0 is always portrayed as something like it breaks the universe.
Breaks the matrix.
It's
not even the matrix divide by 0.
It's not that it does anything specific. It's just the problem with dividing by 0 is that if you just write 1 divided by 0, it's an undefined statement. You don't know anything. You don't know from which direction to approach it. And the thing is, if you provide from which direction you actually approach.
But then every time you write 0, it is implied that it's plus 0.
No.
If it's minus 0, you have to write minus 0.
The mathematical expression minus 0 doesn't exist.
But didn't we say like minus? But we were talking about minus 0. We're talking about the negative 0, which is, wouldn't that be called minus 0?
No.
We always put x like minus 10, minus 5, and then minus 0. And then it's kind of the negative 0.
No, there's no such thing. Once you reach 0, it's the same point.
Yeah.
There's no way of marking from which direction you have actually approached.
Yeah.
And in physics, we do that all the time, right? Physicists use division by 0 all the fucking time. So the notion that you cannot divide by 0, it's very naive, because if you provide this information, if you provide from where you actually go to 0, it's absolutely fine.
But so just that you know, is it a positive or a negative infinity?
Yes.
Right, that's what you need to know.
Well, I mean, the equations can get quite complicated. You can have that in the exponent, for example. You can have imaginary numbers with it. It gets a little more complicated than just plus or minus infinity. You can get a lot more different values out of divisions by 0 and stuff.
But was my equation in the beginning not correct? Like, this is, I think, how in school they show that you can't divide by 0.
And this is the naive approach, because this is just basically using 0 as a symbol, right? And that doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
To really have 0 make sense, you always have to like approach it. Okay, that is the main kicker here from this small little section.
Interesting. That is fascinating.
Yeah. So when school restarts, or you're in the next school Zoom meeting, you can smart ass your way.
You want to impress your math teacher, be like, you can actually divide by 0, just have to know if you're approaching it from the positive side or the negative side. That's cool.
Yeah. And the expression we physicists use to do that is always the lim, standing for limit. Mm-hmm. And then below the limit, you always say from which direction you approach. Mm-hmm. Okay, that was the first.
Is lim not limus?
It's Latin is limus, but the Americans say limit.
Ah, okay. Because
or in English,
lim, I remember doing that, like approaching.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, next up. Maybe you've heard about it, but a few weeks back, the Nobel Prizes were awarded. And 2 stood out to me specifically, physics and chemistry. Now, I personally think that the impact of the chemistry one is monumental. Like the chemistry Nobel Prize awarded something that will shape our futures and the future of every human being on this planet fundamentally.
What happened?
The only problem is I don't get it. I cannot do a full science segment on it because I don't understand it. Okay. I can only give you a really quick rundown of what it is about. And if you're really smart, or if you're a biologist or a chemist, maybe you get it. I don't. What I'm going to talk about more is the Physics Nobel Prize, which is also excellent topic, but it's not as world-shaking as the chemistry one, because the Chemistry Nobel Prize...
Put your mic down a little bit.
Yeah. The Chemistry Nobel Prize went to 2 groups of researchers that were...
Filming?
Yeah, that discovered, I should say, the genetic scissors of CRISPR-Cas9. What does that mean?
DNA thing.
Exactly. So since many years, we know that organic or living things have their genetic code in their DNA. Right? The DNA is basically the blueprint of themselves. And this idea is probably as old as this discovery itself, that what if we could actually manipulate this DNA, right? Change stuff in it. Like DNA is made out of genes. Genes are just small sections that are responsible for something in the organism. And what if we could remove them or put in something else, all right? This idea of actually manipulating the blueprint, manipulating a thing on one of the most fundamental levels possible. And that was, up until now, a horrendous and at times impossible task. That's also why it was so difficult to get vaccines to diseases, or to actually why, for example, AIDS has not been cured for I don't know how long.
But I think AIDS is very manageable. Like people don't die of AIDS.
It's now manageable.
If they get the medication,
yes.
They can live with it.
Yeah, they can live with it, but it's still incurable.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons is because we understand genomes so well, but there was no way to actually work with them. It was so frustrating. It was like it was a barrier that chemists and biologists could never cross, like the light speed barrier for physicists. It was impossible. And with the discovery of CRISPR-Cas, you can actually manipulate genes on a fucking molecular level. Like you can pick out the atom you want to cut, open the DNA strand, and insert your own.
Why has this not been in the news everywhere?
Because it's so hard to understand. Like, it has been in the news everywhere. You remember a year ago, there was this Chinese doctor who actually cured 2 children of AIDS, but he cured 2 embryos of AIDS. And he did that by actually genetically engineering it. It was super controversial.
And he had to, there was something.
He's now off political. The grid. Yeah. So you see the impact this technology can have, right? And so the Nobel Prize Committee, it's a big committee and their decisions carry some weight, but I think this is a good statement for that advancements in science itself is more or less neutral, and the technology that they've awarded the Nobel Prize here to is, I think it's going to be miraculous. Sorry to use so much superlatives, yeah, but what this allows will be unfathomable. Like genetic manipulation has never been so easy and so efficient, and it was never possible to do it on such a big scale. Guys, you will be amazed for what's to come in the next few years.
That's insane.
Yeah. I would love to explain how it works, but I don't get it. So sorry. My wife, who was a biologist, she tried to explain it to me, and it ended with me forgetting how to eat. So, yeah. I will stick to physics, which is why I'm going to tell you now what the Physics Nobel Prize was about. It was given one half to Roger Penrose, who is a theorist. Yeah, a theorist.
Physicist.
Yeah. He proved that the formation of a black hole is not just theoretical. Like back in the day, Penrose published a paper, I think it was 50 or so years ago. People were like, yeah, Einstein's equations are cool and all, but once you have like too much mass at one point, you get a lot of infinities, and physicists.
It's not a practical reality.
Yeah, it's like these you get a lot you get 0, and that's usually a sign that something in the
formula
theory is maybe it's just not applicable there. Right? They thought like, okay, yeah, Einstein's equations were good, but once the mass density gets too high, you get too much energy.
Like all formulas aren't applicable.
Yeah, and then, okay, maybe this model didn't just breaks down there, we cannot apply it. Okay. And Penrose actually theoretically, it sounds so weak, but no, he actually fundamentally showed that these, that Einstein's equations still make sense, even if the mass density gets high enough. Oh no, the camera just turned off.
From battery? Probably from battery.
I don't know.
If I want, I can just maybe put this.
Yeah.
So that we'll both be in the image.
Mm-hmm. Is that even possible?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what he showed was...
As always, we are improvising here at the Ranton Podcast.
Was that there's actually... It's not just a quirk of the equations themselves, but it's actually a physical reality. Mass does collapse into a singularity, forms a black hole. He basically proved it. The theory, the fundamentals of it. And just up until recently, that was everyone just believed it. But until recently, we had the black hole picture, right?
Yeah,
remember?
Yeah.
That was the first time where we actually saw one. So now that was only logical to give him the Nobel Prize.
One question. Of course, I'm a fucking amateur with all this stuff. How can we see a black hole? It doesn't emit light.
Yes, yeah, it itself doesn't, but it's
everything around it, and then we see a lack of light.
It's very heavy, so it attracts a lot of stuff, and it attracts them very, very strongly. So the stuff that's attracted gets accelerated to be very fast, and fast-moving stuff heat up. And if it heats up, it glows. So around the black hole, you have this disk of matter that's being pulled in, and that it gets fast.
Why does it move a disk around the black hole? Why doesn't it go inside the black hole? Sometimes I wonder why are disks formed sometimes around something.
Why it's a disk?
Why does it move like this? Why does it go in it?
Well, if it rotates. Oh, okay. Well, that's because I think don't 100% sure here, but if you have a sphere of gas and you start rotating that sphere, it will automatically go into a disk form because the velocities at the equator are
I got it.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I think the reason why it's forming
when you
disks,
take slime on a record speaker and you turn it, it will become flat.
It will flatten out and instead move to the sides. And I think the reason why that happens with black holes is because black holes are spinning themselves. And so the momentum needs
isn't
to
it
be preserved.
dangerous that we could see it? Like, isn't that fact alone the fact that it's so close that we can see it?
Well,
I know that they didn't take a picture of the sky.
Yeah,
I know,
it's not very close.
But the fact that we can see it, isn't that still kind of close for that much mass to be visible to us?
No. Black holes are a lot more common than.
Are black holes getting more and more like researched? Like we find out more and more about them.
Yeah. Although I would say, it's a controversial statement here, but I would say most of the fundamentals are well understood, and it's now only
working out the details.
Yeah, working out the details. There are still some unpleasant paradoxes with black holes.
Like when you get too close, what happens to isn't it?
No, but the information paradox. So when something falls into a black hole, it's gone, right? There's no way to escape it. But black holes actually get smaller over time. They lose some of their
entropy. Was that the word? We had the entropy discussion last time.
No. They evaporate. They actually give off more energy than falls into them.
What happened to the stuff that was sucked in?
So it's gone. At the end of the day,
Masseerhaltungssatz.
Well, you wish.
What do you call it in English?
The energy conservation. No, you wish. Yeah. No. There's it's fun. That's the problem. It's not conserved, right? They evaporate over time.
It evaporates into what?
Into radiation, into random radiation, and the information of whatever you threw into the black hole is gone, and that's bad. That's fundamentally there's something not conserved here in this universe that we thought should be conserved.
That's fucked up.
And has been no solution to this problem yet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
That was the first part.
I think our discussion about the marbles last time was
awesome, right?
Super interesting.
Yeah. That was half of the Nobel Prize, and if it was just the Nobel Prize for a theorist, I would have been kind of sour here. But the committee knows this, and therefore they've also awarded the other half to two groups that have researched a specific black hole, which carries sentimental significance, I would say, because it's the one at the center of our galaxy. And the physics Nobel Prizes that I love most are the ones that reward technical or technology
advancement.
Interesting
the fact that the Nobel Prize kind of awards prizes for these things that have on the first sight very little value to us.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that the Physics Nobel Prize is going to award something energy research or new forms of something that has value to us, because like astrology in a way is kind of
Did you just say astrology?
Whatever the fuck it's called. Astronomy. Astrology is the one with the star signs, right?
Yeah.
No, but aren't these two things kind of the same value for us right now? The same use?
Well,
what mass of black hole has the same use for us?
That's what I mean. Why I mostly like Nobel Prizes that reward technological advancement. Because technological advancement is good for all of us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, one thing that I didn't say last time. So I worked on a particle accelerator, right? And you might say, dude, Andi, why are you wasting our tax money?
You explained that last time, why this technology is important. You find this in our products as well.
Why is a particle accelerator research important? Well, excuse me, but you all have a particle accelerator in your home. Yeah? It's called a microwave. So don't give me that shit. Okay, so the second half of the Nobel Prize was awarded to two groups, and they actually proved that there was a supermassive black hole in the center of our galaxy.
In the Milky Way.
In the Milky Way, yeah. And this was...
The Milky Way also spins, no?
Yeah, it's also a disk, right? It has these spiral arms. And you've noticed that the center is very bright in all pictures. Like, by the way, all Milky Way pictures are artist impressions, because there's no way for us to actually...
Of course not.
Yeah.
There's no guy out there...
But all galaxies, or most galaxies, have a very bright center. And why is it bright? Because there are a lot of stars there. And so we know there are a lot of stars, but we actually don't know what's in the center. And these two groups have actually showed that there's a massive object there.
Why don't these stars get sucked into the center and destroyed?
Well,
because it's there's so much mass there.
Yes.
They get sucked into the black hole.
I mean, they are attracted to it, but see this. The sun is very massive compared to the Earth. Why is the Earth not falling into the sun? Because it's rotating. And that's what most objects in the universe do. They're not in a direct trajectory towards it. If they just miss the black hole slightly, they will be put on a elliptical orbit, right?
Yeah.
And that's what actually
most trajectory.
Yeah, that's what actually most objects around in this region do. They have these very, very sharp elliptical orbits, and these teams have analyzed these orbits of hundreds of stars, and they're all orbiting around one dark spot where there's actually nothing there, but there's no other explanation. There's a very dark spot that everything in the center is orbiting around. Amazing. It has to be something supermassive, and the technologies they created or invented just to be able to see it, because seeing through the Milky Way is fucking hard. There's a lot of dust and other stars and gunk in the way. So that was really technologically top tier. Well deserved. Well deserved.
Awesome.
Good.
And now the big science segment, or was it?
No, that was... yeah.
Okay,
so the two rapid fire ones were...
Chemistry and...
Why can't you divide by zero? And chemistry. And the big one was the physics one. Yeah, we made it.
Man, think of science as always the stars, man. the stars, man. What does it mean?
I mean, if you're a long-time watcher of the podcast, you know that I'm personally not that interested in astronomy. That's a field of physics that I'm not that interested in, but I cannot deny its significance and its popularity. Like, it's so fascinating to everyone.
Fascinates us to think where we at.
Yeah.
Catch you on the flippity flop.
Goodbye.